All right, they see us. Let's audio check real quick.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Perfect. You did great. I'm proud of you.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to the Blue Reef Podcast, episode number 232. I'm Adrian. David's
Hell
over here.
yeah.
Yeah, David's with the hell yeah there. So, video game podcast.
Damn right.
We go live on Tuesdays. It's gonna be a little weird coming up here because of all the holidays, but just remember that part. We also do a video game book club podcast called Games Gone By.
Happens once in a while.
It happens once in a while. We try to do it once a month. I'm hoping that it helps back on track. We've had the most unfortunate luck this time, and you know what? Hey, we could focus on the unfortunate luck part. I also think we can also at least pat ourselves in the back because this could have been a really easy project to abandon because of how fucking hectic things have been.
That's true.
So the fact that we were able to get through all the games that we said we would thus far, like technically right now, right now, technically we're on track. Like we've all the games that were supposed to be played up until now have been played and recorded. So like we're not doing bad, but yeah, the schedule's gonna be a little funky here. Next game we're playing though for sure is gonna happen next Monday, and that is Her Story. After that, we're gonna have to take a break because all the holidays typically don't stop us, but the fact that the holidays all hover around the recording day is what messes us up now. So we're doing what I think January 9th or 8th we agreed on for Nier, and then from there we'll play by ear after that. My cats are fighting.
Good times.
Can you hear that?
I heard like a very faint moment of it.
And then they both like jolted past. But yeah, so Her Story for sure is next week though. So stay tuned for that. And Nier, yeah, we're gonna take our time with Nier because I know we're both gonna have a lot to say about that for sure. On that note, also that's on twitch.tv/Games Gone By podcast. We did a Silent Hill last week. We have Alan Wake Up. We got Iron Lung. We have why am I blanking on the other one that we had? Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I just gained the one that we played. All right. But yeah, those are up. So if you want to watch them, by all means, they're there, but they will go up elsewhere somewhere too in time. David.
Yo.
What'd you get this week?
Hell yeah, I got a fucking bunch of shit. So of course got the Humble bundle.
It's better.
Then I got I alluded to this the other week. I got a massive lot of loose PS1 games. I've already sold half of them and doubled the money back, but I kept a good chunk of them. And some of them are honestly some of the higher end ones, but just real quick on most of the garbage ones. Criticom, wonderfully garbage fighting game there. Ready to Rumble Boxing. Genuinely classic Mech Warrior 2. Maximum Force. The Alien Trilogy, which actually this is good as well. Descent. Gran Turismo 2. Both discs for that. Also genuinely a classic. Some good old Tetris Plus. The most underrated game on the PlayStation, VIP, starring Pamela Anderson.
I think you're gonna say Mr. Mosquito. I don't know why it's the first game that came to my head when you said it's most underrated. I was like, Mr. Mosquito?
Wrong PlayStation.
Sure.
Metal Gear Solid. Duke Nukem Total Meltdown. That's the one.
Is that what they had after they tried to release Duke Nukem Forever 45 times over? The Meltdown?
I think so. Tomb Raider.
What's up,
and the main reason why I bought this is because this game loose still goes for like $40, and I managed to get the whole lot for $17. That's Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors.
Nice. Proud of you, David.
Hell yeah. Aside from that, a couple things that I got with my earnings from the things I sold. I got Fire Emblem Engage finally.
Enjoy that for all not much that you'll enjoy it for.
It's one of those things that
You'll like it if you want strict gameplay. They kind of didn't say what you were gonna say actually.
The thing I was gonna say is like I know the intent of the game is to be like a big celebration of the franchise, and it goes about it in a more traditional way as opposed to like what Fire Emblem Warriors did, which is like celebrate the franchise, but as a Dynasty Warriors game. And putting it into its original format and then just like let's celebrate everything but still trying to make a big long epic story out of it, from my understanding, just did not hit that well for a lot of folks.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say is that they've sort of cornered themselves into this market of Persona fans, I think, where it's like Persona fans like want a good story out of it. And that's just like kind of what you got. You put yourself into this corner where you're like, now you have to make a good story if you want the big fan base that you've acquired to stick around and engage. Is a lot of fan service fun. I don't understand. The most boomer moment was like what, like 5-10 years ago when someone said fan service, and I was like, when we just had two different ideas of what that meant. But like they'll do a lot of callback stuff like that. That like wink nod, you get it right. But people like Three Houses a lot because the story was so good, and this is just like not.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because really they needed to follow up Three Houses with another absolute banger. It's kind of one of those things that a lot of people, myself included, are honestly a little skeptical of when we do eventually get Persona 6, because that at that point will probably be like what, 8 years or so, and that's a long fucking time to wait for the next proper Persona.
Well, it's been a while since Golden to 5, though, right? Not even Golden to 5. We're talking Persona 4 to Persona 5. It was a while.
Persona 4 to 5, yeah, it was a while, but again, 5 is the one that made it mainstream.
Yeah,
5 is
exactly.
Three Houses in 5 are like their franchises respective were finally mainstream games.
Right. Yeah, it sucks because like they hit it off, but like now the pressure's on to like constantly do at least that, which is tough.
And so I honestly am kind of sad for, I can't remember what Re Fantasy's actual name ended up being.
Metaphor.
But yeah, Metaphor. There we go. I do feel a bit unfortunate for that game because that one was in development for so long, and I'm really excited for an actual high fantasy game just with the SMT kind of play style. But I feel like it's going to have a lot of expectation put on it for what it's not going to be, which I feel like a lot of people are going to be looking at it as like, oh, it's just going to be like Persona, but it's not. It's going to be like mainline SMT a lot more. But anyways, all that to say,
I don't agree with it actually. I think that game is gonna get hindered because people don't know where it's coming from. It's gonna have to be advertised as from the people that brought you Persona 5. It's got to be advertised as that because
that's what I mean. But it's gonna have to suffer that weight of it.
I think it's almost not even gonna make it to that point. I don't know if it's gonna sell well. I just foresee it just not selling well, just in general.
No, I don't either. I don't think that Atlas is gonna have another like equivalent hit until 6 happens.
Did SMT 5 suffer that though? Because I know people were like,
SMT 5 did have some legitimate issues. That game fucking shugs. Right. So while die-hard SMT mainline fans enjoyed the game, myself included, the game was not critically received.
Right. See, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, and I could foresee that happening. I could also just foresee that the game is just. I feel like the game could be enough of it, but like just no one knows about it. No one gives a shit because it's not called Persona.
Fair.
But also, I do like that point that you bring about Persona being away for so long. It's been just 5 Strikers, 5 Royal, 5 Tactica. It's been so long that there is so much. Like Persona is now like a game that everyone's watching out for. Is 6 gonna live up to that? I feel like the way I could see it happening is I think 6 could hit it out. I could see like and then this is we're talking like a decade in the future, right? I could see
Yeah.
7 faltering because there's just so much built up after that they're gonna want to try to do something different and it's not gonna hit. 6 I foresee happening pretty well because like yeah, just do what you did before and you're stylish, you understand it, you understand the mission, go do it. Now 7's like do it again, and it's like oh I think they're gonna want to sidetrack and do something different. It's gonna throw everyone off.
Fair. I mean, and that's gonna be the other thing too. Is it'll be interesting to see where that releases, considering what was announced officially this week, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, later.
Right. Yeah. That's dude. Hold on, really quick. Let me.
Yeah.
Have you checked the view count?
No, I don't care about it. So.
I know you don't, but like, the views are fucking nuts for this though. Okay, can I just Rockstar Games? Thank you. How many views do you think it has after one day?
Considering it's a fucking game that's made billions of dollars, I'll lowball it and say maybe 7 million.
94 million views.
Yeah.
In
Figured I was
one day,
lowballing.
dude. Like, that's nuts. That's actually like ridiculously nuts. And I know I'll talk about it for sure. It's not your wheelhouse, but I can respect the game for sure.
I mean, I respect the hustle. It's just it has
We'll talk about it.
Granted, yeah, we'll talk about that because there's a comment on that game that couldn't help but make me fucking laugh that I do want to fucking poke fun at. But aside from that, White Knight Chronicles 2 got that complete in box. Happy to eventually one day play that. Also, continuing my journey to try and get collections of games that normally are digital only. I got the Capcom Digital Collection, which is the only physical way to get a lot of the HD remixes that Capcom put out during that era. Which, honestly, I have a love-hate relationship with Capcom. Sometimes they do a lot of super anti-consumer shit, like unfortunately caving and doing super disgustingly expensive premium skins for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, man.
But
I'll say this. If you want to like max out the skins, if something's gonna happen, fuck it, I guess. Whatever. I don't necessarily care for it because you're putting out paid DLC. If this is a live service game that you're seeing some extra stuff on, then do whatever the fuck you want with skins. It's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Just don't get egregious on the rest of this shit. I don't know. It's a bummer. It always sucks seeing a game fall from grace. And this isn't a fall from grace. Game's still fucking incredibly well done, but it just sucks to see like someone like eyeball that and go, can we make more out of it? It's like you just be happy with what you got. You've pleased everyone. Move the fuck on and do something else. Like don't.
To be fair, at least it's a skin and not a fucking $15 fatality.
That's what I mean. So it's like skins are the least egregious thing you could probably do, but it just sucks when just someone was eyeballing that at Capcom HQ and being like, let's make more. Let's keep making more money.
But yeah, so kudos to Capcom. I don't know why they only did this for the 360 though, because all these games are also on PS3, but they didn't do a same collection for PS3. I'm kind of curious to look into that at some point and kind of figure out why that is. But yeah, so that's another collection of classic HD updates for games on the 360 that will be going away when Microsoft shuts everything down a little bit.
Yep.
Got this nice and minty complete in box. Normally this goes for about $40. Managed to snag it for $5. And that is Super Robot Wars for the 64. And fucking A, that is pristine. That is a good goddamn box.
Yeah, where'd your boxes end
up? I do love good box. And then
where'd your boxes ended up at?
My boxes?
And the dump.
It's true. Things that are not in the dump though, one of my Black Friday purchases have come in. This is my one from Video Games Plus there. I got Astro Knight,
Hell yeah.
Painkiller, Hell and Damnation,
Yep.
Atelier Rorona Plus,
Hell yeah.
and finally snagged this motherfucker sealed. Now with this, I have every SMT game on fucking 3DS, and this bitch is staying sealed, and that's SMT Apocalypse.
Isn't that the one that I had?
I think that may have been the one you had.
Love that I end up games that you just really want for some reason. Except the Demi Kids Light version. Rip me, I could have had that. I'm so bummed. I swear I saw that ad playing around forever, and I was like, I thought it was a kids game. It literally was in the sea of just like all like SpongeBob and like in Hannah Montana. It's just so funny to me. Also, just thinking of this family that picked up this thing and they saw Demi Kids and they saw like
Yep.
light version thinking like it was probably some Pokemon thing or something like that.
Fucking man, that hurts my soul so much.
Yeah, I could have grabbed it for $6 and I passed by it for like maybe like a month or two and then just until I finally just stopped and looked at it. I was like, oh fuck, hey, is it there? Nah, I just left actually. I was like, oh motherfucker.
The audacity.
Right. What else you get, David?
That is it.
I ain't got shit.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Responsible man right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I did all my Black Friday shopping, so I was good. Speaking of, also not Annapurna cart didn't sell out, which is fine, which is kind of nice.
I'm not surprised by that one, honestly.
I didn't think it would, just because it was. How much was it again? $200?
Yeah.
It was the most expensive one because the Annapurna PS4 one was like 150, I think. And I think $200 is too much to swallow for that. Except I mentioned it. Those fucking Alan Wake thermoses sold out, which pissed me off. Those things went like within a second, and that was like, what the fuck. Dave, what'd you play this week?
Nothing.
Hell yeah. So I've been.
You know what I did do though?
Jerk off.
Hell yeah. No, I saw Godzilla -1.
I need to
fucking
fucking
peak
watch
cinema.
that. I need to fucking watch that. So
Fucking peak cinema.
putting a-
Genuinely.
I'm putting a call out right now again. Hold on. I am once again because no one was able to on Sunday. If anyone wants to watch Godzilla tomorrow, I'm going by myself if they're not here tomorrow. I heard it was amazing.
It's unironically, genuinely one. It's probably, I don't know. It's going back and forth with me for best Godzilla, but also unironically best film in a long fucking time for me.
Interesting. Okay.
It's genuinely a fucking banger, and it fucking A, it's so good.
Cal was all in the chat with it all caps. -1 was so good.
It's fucking phenomenal.
You know, this year has been a banger, kind of just all around. I feel like.
Yeah, been a pretty good
movie's
fucking
been
year.
Hitting really good. Game's been hitting really good. Nothing else matters.
Hell yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I need to go watch that. I've been playing a lot of Mario Wonder. I'm close to beating that game. Cal said -1 cost 15 million to make. Insane. That's crazy.
Damn.
What else have I been playing? I did boot up Her Story. My classes got really into it, so
Did my message actually pop up for the class?
I don't know. I don't know if I saw it afterwards when I used the Steam Deck. I don't know if it just didn't show or if I wasn't looking. But I did see your message afterwards. They got really into it though. I had to sell my I had 2 classes do it. I had to sell the second class to do that. But eventually it was fun seeing them all kind of collectively kind of use their detective brains. That's actually, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't use that earlier. That would have been really good. I'm almost even inclined to use it with my film class too, just because like it's footage, it's acting. Why not, right?
True.
I feel like I played something else. I booted up Halo with the former student of mine recently. That was fun. It's good to get back in there again. Still feels good. I'm trying to finish Wonder because I really want to play Super Mario RPG right now. I'm just really in like I want to be in an RPG mood, but I don't want to play a full ass RPG. So I think that's literally the perfect game for me right now.
Yeah, because I think the game's only like 20 hours or so.
20 hours, and it's like if
Been
you
a hot
do
second.
everything too. I think.
Uh, how long to beat?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you just yeah, completionist is 20 hours. If you
Fantastic.
just start going straight through the game, it's like 11.
Oof. I can only get so erect. It's nice. RPGs in 11 hours feels great. Um, yeah, I do also want to try to get some of the Game Awards stuff just out of the way, but Lord knows Baldur's Gate 3 is not happening in a time frame that's
Yeah, I
feasible.
know. Baldur's Gate is the next summer vacation. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a whole ass summer vacation. That's the thing that sucks about those games that are so big is like I'm sure it's incredible. I just don't know if I have it in me to play a game in turn for what could have been like two Persona 5s or two Red Dead Redemption 2s, you know. But
Mm.
eventually I'll get it. Steam Deck I think was a good spot for me to have that though, because I'll be more inclined to play it there. I kind of want to get Cyberpunk on the Steam Deck, and I know I shouldn't because I already have Cyberpunk, and all I need to do is just get the $30 DLC and play it on console. But I'm like, but Steam Deck sounds nice. I'm good though. I have to stop rebuying games that are on Steam Deck just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It's so nice though. David, what happened this
Hell
week?
yeah. Well, there was a major game leak that forced a game trailer to go live early.
Game trailers.
Game trailers.
So GTA 6 is upon us. If it wasn't yesterday, it was today. There was no world, according to Rockstar, that we did not have Grand Theft Auto 6 by now. David,
Yo,
you don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
I think they control kind of clunky for you, and then the story's not really there.
I don't care about the gameplay. I don't care about the story. They've never been fascinating or interesting to me. Also, one thing I do want to call it though, shout outs to cucks like Elon Musk though. Is like, oh, I don't want to play those games. You shoot cops in those games.
Does that make you want to play it more?
You know, that actually, out of spite, almost makes me want to play it just so I can do that. But no, that is not anything that I have any actual interest in playing.
Um, what's the last time you've like tried a Grand Theft Auto?
I tried 5.
Okay.
I tried. I think I got like maybe a half hour into the story mode, didn't care, and then I had a bunch of buddies like, "No, let's play. It's a lot of fun. Trust us." And I played for like about 5 hours of online with them, and was still bored out of my mind.
Online, I know it blew up. I'm of the mind that I like 4 is better just because I don't like the transaction-y side of what GTA Online is. GTA 4 was straight up just a sandbox, had 60 people on a map, go do whatever you want, and that was fun. But 5 story was actually pretty solid. I do want to go back and play it now, like 10 years disconnected with it, and see if it really sticks up to like what I appreciate in stories now, right? Because like GTA 5 when that came out was like The Last of Us, which is like which Last of Us, then the year prior with like was it the year prior? Or am I even 2 years prior with The Walking Dead? Like stories like Last of Us is a great story, but it really started the boom of like incredible stories, I feel like. Um and part of me wants to go back and see if it holds up. But like from what I remember like the characters. It was all about the characters. Like you don't care about the overarching story. You just want to go on a journey with these 3 characters, which is the way I always saw it. And I had fun with it. Uh, Shout outs to Rockstar for Lucia because that's like everything in my type of a woman. So I'm like, cool. I'm already in. You
Hell
got me.
yeah.
But if they stick with what they did with 5, which is make a solid story between a couple characters, I think it's fine. I love it. Cause like I loved 5 and got a lot of online mode because it kind of continues the stories with side characters from the single player. That's fair. I don't. Here's the thing. GTA or Rockstar is not cerebral enough for David.
Nor just bonkers fun. I have two modes. I give me something that is just genuinely fun, ridiculous gameplay, or give me like a super deep and engaging story. Pick one.
What do you find is deep and engaging story?
I like a lot of things. Like I've talked about before, with like Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Why do you like
Either
them?
something that is on 9, for instance, super deep, emotionally character-driven piece. Final Fantasy Tactics, super deep political drama that spans basically in-game universe, like 100+ years of different political intrigue and drama there.
I absolutely fucking love Red Dead 2. I in my deepest heart of hearts, I think you would like that game. I think the characters in that game are actually so. I think Arthur Morgan's so fucking incredibly well written, and the world he is in, and like his motivations, everything that surrounds him. I think he's a fantastic character. Um, I will not die on the hill for you to love that game because I have other battles that I could probably win easier. If I die on the hill, do I think I could convince you to play Red Dead 2? I could, but I'm not going to. I have only so like if I die on the
I
hill,
was gonna say, I think you would sooner try to fight for Alan Wake 2 than you would that.
that's what I'm saying. So if it's like because here's the thing: if I fight for Red Dead 2 and I make you play through 100 hours games, that I think you would like. I can't fight on the battle for a long time. I know I've exonerated my will to battle and your will to accept that because even though you would love it, 100 hours, 100 hours. Alternatively, I could fight like 3 or 4 battles that I could also win, but like on a minor scale versus Red Dead 2, you know. So like Alan Wake 2, 20 hours, I could win that. 100-hour Red Dead 2, I gotta put a lot of my energy in that battle. Do I think I can win? Yes. Am I gonna even try? Maybe someday you somehow get this urge to. I implore you to like
Maybe
watch.
one day it shows up as a games gone by game.
Maybe if not, I hope you would like watch the video of that because like genuinely I feel like Arthur Morgan is such a fun, flawed. I say fun isn't like intriguing to pick apart. Just a flawed character in like the best sort of sense that you could want in a character.
Hmm.
So maybe one day like I know I'd be hard pressed to get that. I don't know. Like I'd have to like use 4 games gone by games to get that one on there. But like I think if there's a world that if there's like 0% chance you'd ever play that game, I think we should look into like you watching a video to at least understand that. Because I get it. If people have problems with the controls, yes, I get it. I think the slow burn in the beginning threw me off the game like 2 or 3 times. I get it. Um, that's not my hill to battle. I love Red Dead 2, fucking love it. It's not the hill. I'll like 2 is the hill. It'll forever be the hill. It's still a 10 out of 10 game. I still literally can't stop thinking about that game. Every day is me thinking about that game. Which by the way, shout outs, Old Gods of Asgard are confirmed to play Game Awards.
Yes, that was one of the other news pieces I was going to bring up.
It's Kells tagged me in it. Shout outs to Kells. All I'm gonna say is it's happening. If it doesn't happen, I'll write. But it's gonna happen. And in which case, David, because we're gonna watch that live together, right?
Yeah, that's the intent because that's Thursday at like 8 my time, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it together. I'm gonna grab pizza. We're gonna watch it together, have a good time. David, you're gonna hear me pop off for that because I've been wanting it since the second I saw this. I'm like, this has to happen. It's gonna happen. If they don't do this, Jeff, you're dumb. Jeff Keighley did point out or say that he's been working with Sam Lake on this for years now. So I'm like, there's no way it's not this. Like, come on. If you know, you know. I want to. I know. We mentioned out a spoiler section last week, and we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna say it this week. But in a spoiler section last week, which I'm using air quotes now. Spoiler section, because we didn't really spoil anything. I just kind of just sold my side a little bit more freely. I think if I told David, Kells in chat, for example, if I told David what I think I'm thinking about some part of this game, I think that might make David more inclined to play because he's like, what the fuck? Okay. I'm not gonna. Maybe eventually.
Play your cards right.
Yeah. Again, hills I gotta die on, and I'm low energy this week.
Hell yeah.
My Smash teams both made top 8, so my varsity and my junior
Good shit.
varsity in state made top 8. We had our play for top 4 today. Varsity's in top 4. JV lost. Dude, uh, I love when fighting games become cerebral though. Like it's so fun when you start breaking apart that because like there's so much you can do in basics and neutral and stuff, but like when you dissect a player, that's the shit right there. So it's like, JV lost. I put my one of my new players who's Game Watch. I set him out there out the gate. He choked, but he did really well. Like it was 1-2. He could have won it, but he definitely choked at the end. But he felt really good about it, which I was proud because he cried last week over that. We're all gonna have that when we lose in a competition like that when people depend on it. But he got out of his system and he was like, you know what? I'm proud of that game. I lost, but I think I did my best and I can improve off that. I'm like, you know what? That's some good shit right there. My other player, who's my best player on there, choked bad. Got the bad nerves. And I was worried for that too. I was like, you're gonna be good? He's like, I'm gonna be good. And then just choked bad. He got nervous. Um and then my other player who did that, he won his first set, which is great. He popped off. Then he got a little bit too excited, and they have one player on this school who knows they're good, but it's like very arrogant about it.
Mm.
And I'm like, and I dissect that kind of person. I'm like, look, and my varsity players came by like, no, he's right, like with this, because it's true. It's like the guy plays random, by the way. He just likes to go and play random because he likes to show off
Oh,
like
that
that.
kid, yeah.
And he's good. He's like 6 to 7, 10 good out of every character. But like, I'm gonna talk my shit. Is like if you did that, that shows me you're just like not good enough to be a main. That shows me that you're a jack of all trades, master of none. You're a master of none. So I'm just gonna beat you with all your characters with my one character, and that goes out the window for you. And it sucks because like part of me, and again I gotta stay out of it a little bit, but I'm like every time this happens, I'm like, give me the controller, let me see, ask if they'll play it. And they usually gotta leave because it's late. But I'm like, let me play them really quick. Let me just show you, it's doable. Like they played a uh I think they played K-Rool and then to Bowser. And like we have a Bowser player, and even the Bowser player was like watching on the sides while they were playing. He's like, hey, he's all right. Like he just doesn't do a lot of the smart stuff that you would do where you would need to, but just they just know the character enough to get around that.
Mm.
Um and I was like, I wish I could just play the kid and just be like, look, it's easy. Let me show you. He's gonna do this here. He's gonna do this here. He's gonna do this here. Boom, clean, done, move on. Um, because kind of level we're still at, right? Like it's like I can confidently play the kids. Obviously, it's fine. Even though like some of the kids are really good, my player could actually kind of beat me, but that's because like we're practicing constantly, right? But
Yeah, they're learning your matchup.
yeah, part of it I just want to be like, let me just finish it up real quick for you. All right, we're good. When your fucking teacher can grab the controller and just beat the kid that just kicked your ass, like cool. Also at the time, like guys, you are on the reigning champs team. Why are you letting these lesser schools get to your nerves? You practice with better players. You are on the better team. Do not give them the satisfaction of making you scared and nervous. You should not be.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Listen to our team. We won it first time. We're gonna try our best and hopefully do it again. But let's run it back. Um, it's nice that the our number one rival team and that team that just beat my JV and also beat our varsity actually in mid season, but it was lesser reasons why. But they fight each other on Thursday, so we knock out one of our biggest issues out the gate, which is cool. We got to worry about our own game. But yeah, I'm just like, it just sucks. I gotta train the nerves out of them, which is not something you just coach easily, and it's something that they gotta like go learn on their own. They gotta go out to their own tournaments. They gotta go out and do that and feel that and like be crushed, be kicked around a little bit, and then they bring it back. Um, just because like I tell them like, look, everything is doable. Like I beat you guys every single time. Guess what? There's players out there. There's like one or two players out there that have my number to a point where it's like the matchup uh like is ridiculously like in that favor. It's like not even a joke in their favor how much times they beat me versus how many times I beat them. But there's levels on that too. And then you talk to that player hasn't raised on the next level, right? It's like there's so many layers to that. You can't just get wound up and nervous over such a small thing. I hope we bring it back again. It'd be so good to be a 2-time champ. Holy shit, I'd feel good about that one. Hell yeah, Trey 50.
Hell yeah.
I need to play more Smash in general. I've actually like not sat down and played like Smash recreationally like in probably like 3-4 months. This summer I did, but even then I've not played. It's kind of nice to kind of take like a Professor X role. I just sit in the back. I'm like, all right, guys, just do this, and you guys are my squad. But yeah, man, the kids are good. I had to remind them too. Like JV, y'all are my backup team, and y'all got top 8 in state. My backup team last year didn't even beat 1 round. You guys got past like 3, so it's like good shit to y'all. I love competition like that. It just gets me going. I love it. Yeah. So GTA 6, David, you don't care about the stories, which is fine.
Nope.
I feel like you gotta at least respect the ambition and craft of it. Did you watch? You should watch trailers still.
I have zero interest.
I know you don't have to have interest in the trailer, but like, at least like, because Rockstar trailers are actually pretty like, Rockstar is like not that studio that fakes their trailers or like you know the ones like you see Watch Dogs, you know Watch Dogs looks amazing in the trailer, but like comes out it's like lukewarm. I actually appreciate Rockstar for being pretty true and honest with their trailers, and the scope of it's gonna be nuts. Like to this day, I feel like GTA 5 is still like top tier open world game. Games are trying to like stack up against that, but GTA 6 looks like it's gonna just blow that shit out of the water, which is like funny because like so many other studios just like wish they can keep up with them right now. Big place. We're going back to Vice City, big world. NPCs galore. Everything's like looking flashy. I don't know if they've confirmed if it's on old gen or not. They have not said anything about old gen. They just said PS5 in the series consoles. But I think I saw Neo mention something about old gen, in which case he also mentioned that it'd be at 30 frames per second. I agree. There's no way this thing is gonna run decently on old gen. But we'll see, I guess.
I mean, considering it didn't even say anything from my understanding about PC either, I'd be surprised if it came out to old gen but not PC.
Right, and it needs to hit PC. I think that's just a good market right out the gate. Dave, what else happened this week?
What else did indeed happen? So there's been more updates to this Open Hands charity. Have you been following this at all?
I have been, David. I'm gonna ask you for a favor. Start up that, and I'll be right back.
All right. So, for those that are not in the know, this involves not just the completionist Gerard Khalil, but his entire family. They are all involved in a charity called the Open Hands Foundation, and there's been some hullabaloo, a little bit of some sussy-wussy behavior.
Hey. Speaking of wanting your money, shouts to
True.
Shouts to Thomas Nook, right?
Thomas Nook, but you know what? The man is respectful about shaking you down for your money.
By the way, real quick side tangent. Have you ever like moved in a certain way and like have instantaneously realized you're hungry?
Yes.
Yeah, that just happened right now. I literally like when I moved from my chair, I paused for about a half second, just like 30 seconds ago. I was like, holy fuck, I'm hungry. So I went to go boot up the oven. Can I put a pizza in there? But holy shit, that was the most instantaneous. I need food.
That happens to me more so at work where I'll just be like dead in the zone and then all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, I gotta shift around. It's like, oh, food. Food sounds good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so
But yeah.
Open Hand, and it's shouts to Carl Jobst. And some ordinary gamers, people hard out there, would doing all the research on this and just deconstruction the fuck out of that. It's unfortunate. The completionists always seem like a pretty solid dude, right? Like it's like always trying to preserve shit, even especially like last year preserving all the 3DS and Wii U things. How do you fuck yourself over that bad? the level 1 of this was just okay, they're raising the money. It didn't go where it was, but it still could. There's still time to bounce back and be like, we held on to it because of this, but it's all been there and it's all donated. Here's the receipts. Are bad. And in which case I would have been like, that's pretty shitty. Okay, fine. Like, whatever. If the money went there, the money went there ultimately, right? Now it's not that.
Yeah.
It has gone further down the rabbit hole into a bad spot.
So, real quick side note, there has been an update. The money has now officially been donated.
Yeah, that took too long.
One, it took too long, and the money isn't all accounted for still.
Yeah, so they took too long. Right away, it should have been like, as soon as you get cornered like that, like in that Discord call that Completionist did, that is like a hit the big red button. Hey, we fucked up. Before this call ends, here's a receipt.
Also,
but yeah, what Kelvin is saying is there's money from the golf fence that's unaccounted for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus a few other things like the Twitch donations and all the other kind of live events they did to raise money
in honor of his dead mother.
Yeah, like that truly at the end of the day is the most disgusting part of it. To puppeteer your fucking dead parent, like regardless of who you are as a human being, if you are gonna go ahead and pretend that you have a loving relationship with an individual, and maybe it's not pretend, maybe he genuinely has that deep level of respect. But honestly, I don't know what's worse. I truly don't know what's worse. Is him genuinely having that deep level of love and respect that he wanted to do good in his mother's name, but instead puppeteered her dead fucking body to scam people out of charity money? Or he just didn't care from the start and was like, yeah, I can make some side money this way. I don't know what's worse, honestly.
Would you disown me as a person if I did that?
I mean, I
feel like you would talk to me.
I would talk to you because I feel like I know you well enough that I'd have to ask which family member was it first.
I don't really have. It wouldn't be egregious like that. I would say that more like I would hope you would talk to me as to say like, what the fuck has there has to be something that happened. Something has got to have happened. Like something critical.
Oh yeah, like there would definitely be like a fucking come to Jesus talk of like, what the fuck's going on? Talk to me.
You are not just doing this out of boredom. There is or sinister. There is something going on here, which I appreciate. But then that's kind of, I bring that up because that's kind of where I am with him, because I'm like, is it a issue where it's like maybe he's covering for someone that just fucked up? Is he having to deal with the fact that maybe he let someone run it and they were maybe embezzling or something like that, and he's like, well, but then he's the forward-facing guy. I feel like if someone put me in the crosshairs like that, I'd immediately be that guy. He's out.
So here's the situation that I see it. I think the only way that Gerard comes out of this relatively unscathed, and I'm going to say relatively. Now, there hasn't been anything official really from it. And Kels is kind of getting to the heart of my argument, is that his dad is the president of the charity.
Imagine you make money off your dead wife.
Yeah.
With your son.
Yeah.
That is...
I think the only way that Gerard comes out of this relatively unscathed is if this is what genuinely happened. If genuinely it's a situation where his family were the ones predominantly behind everything, and he just happened to be the unfortunate sod that is a public entity, where he thought he was doing good, he thought he was going ahead, but because he's the only one that has a public face to him, he's the only one that has basically an online community watching his moves, he's the only one to directly get a lot of the shit for it. When he maybe has no real fucking control over anything. He's the one that's told, go do good, go do all these things.
Like he's being
Trust us,
he's
we'll
being
take care of
puppeted
it.
himself.
Yeah,
Which is that really good though? Imagine that. I feel like it's a lose-lose situation if you're Gerard right now.
that's why I say that's the only way that he comes out relatively unscathed. And I say relatively because at the end of the day, it
I
means that
get
his
it.
family's fucking playing him.
Relatively.
But no, really, like that's the only way where he can come out of it not being the bad guy in any way, shape, and form. Is that it was an equal surprise to him? In which case, the silence makes sense to me, because the silence means lawyered up.
Well,
The silence means he's like, oh, my family fucked up here. I need to protect myself. When talk to a lawyer, that's like the faintest bit of credit I can potentially give him.
I don't know if I agree with that though, because going on a Discord call with two people that are literally digging up your shit is a lawyer would be fucking fuming.
And that's where it's also because of that call. I don't think it's that.
Maybe let's try to dig it around. Let's do the her story thing and let's dig around this detective thing.
Hell yeah.
Maybe they thought it was okay. Maybe because he said he knew though.
Yeah, he said he knew, and he also, again, the tone he took with Carl and with Mutahar was weirdly aggressive, in the sense of there was one point where they're like, we want to actually get your side of the story. And he was like, well, you're going to fucking just say whatever you guys want to say anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's like,
yeah, and that's
not an innocent person. Yeah, that's not...
He was protecting his own image right there, which leads me to believe that he was not in the dark about this, but I have a feeling maybe, I don't know, I'm probably stretching too hard for the opposite end, but I could see maybe also there have been like he knew his family was doing this, and they kept putting him off, like saying, we got it, we're going to do it, we're just trying to figure out, this is happening, maybe this is happening, we just want to make sure everything's still in there, and they show him the receipts, all the money's still in there, we're good, and then in which case Gerard just, because he's also a content creator, and Lord knows that life is also just hectic, right? So maybe you just also put it off in the back of your brain until, oops, dam burst. Because he doesn't strike me as the skeevy guy, right? Like, there's online personas that are extremely that to a T. He doesn't.
But at the same time, like, that's
all it takes.
That's what works the best, though. Looking into a grimmer version of it, but like your Ted Bundys and stuff,
but
where it's like, yeah, no, to everyone else, they were perfectly upstanding,
I get that.
Very charismatic.
But like, I don't know, like part of me is also like, if you were aware of this, and let's say because it doesn't make sense that he would be in on this either, though, because right, like this is search upable, like what's
grasping at straw here. Grasping at straws here. Let's say that everything is partially true to a degree. He knew the extent of what's happening. He's in a position where he can't do anything about it. Let's say it's you. You're involved in this family charity. You know that your family may or may not be skimming stuff on the side, may or may not be taking advantage of you and your public notoriety and the goodwill that comes from that, from all these extra sources of revenue. But what are you to do at that point? Do you just try to publicly get out of that? Do you just try to be like, well, I guess maybe it'll be okay in the end?
Well, here's the thing too.
It's the shitty thing that unfortunately he could just be someone that genuinely doesn't have a fucking backbone and just was like, yeah, I guess I'll go with what the family says.
But what's their play though?
To skim money.
But the money's still in the account. Like I feel like wouldn't it have been easier to skim money if you look like you were actually donating and all that? Because I feel like if Mutahar and Carl eventually just did this on their own, already, regardless, even if the money did go in there, there's a likelihood that if they saw the money donate, they're like, all right, cool, and then they leave. Versus the fact that they had nothing is what sparked what was the smoking gun, right? And that caused them to dig more. Everything they've been doing caused them to dig more and more.
Right, but they're not thinking that someone's going to spend the time to go look in their shit, as evidenced by the fact this went on for years. Because the ones that they're gonna think is gonna fuck with them is the IRS.
No.
IRS for years didn't care what was going on there.
I get that, but why would you not like just spend that money then? If no one's gonna fuck you with do anything, then why not take that money?
Because you need that to be basically the like, see, we've been collecting the donations because that's what you're actively reporting. You're not reporting the shit you're skimming on the side.
So you're saying that they had the money, so that
Laundering is what I'm saying. Laundering.
No, I see. No, but I understand what you're saying there. But to me, if I understand what you're saying, so I'll get to your point in a second. If they had all this money and they were actively donating it, and it looked like in the ballpark realm of what they said they've accrued over time, then no one's gonna bat an eye. Or like, all right, cool, they did that, whatever. I see what you're saying though. Is that do you think this is almost like their fallback? Like, okay, one person's gonna find out about this eventually, but when they do, we'll just say it's all there. There's our account money. We're good. That's what you're saying. So I feel like we're both kind of approaching this in a similar but different way. Regardless, they got fucked.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't make sense to me. Why not just go for the gusto if you're gonna already do something that's illegal?
I mean, that's why you and I are not rich.
I mean, I decided not to be rich the second I decided to help kids. So
it's true.
Kels, using your dead wife, mom as a cover for your scam is beyond psychotic behavior, in my opinion. I feel like it has to be ineptitude. It's dude, it's like double shitting on the grave for that. Like, imagine your husband and son raise money in your name and just, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with it, but like, it's such a wild ass behavior that it's bizarre.
Yeah, it's what man. And again, like how do you come back from that? Like that's the other question.
Because like it's already double fucking over the fact that you're using like even this like charity, for example. The fact that you're fucking over charity is already egregious. So it's like you're already spitting in the face of whatever charity you've actively talked to, you're gonna donate to. But also,
which apparently the money they donated went to the charity they said from the beginning they were trying to work things out with, but couldn't work a deal out with.
No, they worked out pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
Are we sure the mom wife is even dead at this point? No. You know how? Can you imagine? That was spit take. Got him.
He's just living in the fucking Caymans right now.
Yeah. See, again, that's like a triple fold of just dastardliness. Like, if you were saying like, even if I could even see like you say like a bah humbug motherfucker if it's just like a charity thing, which is already pretty shitty. But like to add the layers to it, it's so fucking ridiculous to me. It's wild. Unfortunate. Hey, well, you know what? Maybe they needed that money to fucking complete the eShop, so maybe it's Nintendo's fault.
It makes shit like that even more heinous. The fact that like, because someone pointed out, it's like, you know, it's kind of wild to see over the years like how many sealed Nintendo 64 games are appearing in the background of all these videos, and then also like, oh, you know, we really need these sponsored donations to make completing this eShop a possible thing. It's like, was it? Was it really needed? Or you know, what's really going on there? I don't think you actually need the sponsor money to do that.
Until you've owned a sealed copy of Snowboard Kids, you don't get it. All right? You don't get it. It's unfortunate you don't get it. Man. This is the shit right there. I don't really know what to say about it, dude. It just kind of sucks for everyone around. I feel bad for the people that were like really into him because he was a pretty wholesome dude. Like, seemed super solid. So I can imagine that because I saw some of it every now and then. I was not a big fan of it. But
I enjoyed his work here and there.
Every once in a while, a video would come up in there, and I never didn't enjoy it. I just never was like, it was never someone I wanted to like pursue, like staying in the loop with. But I never like whenever I saw, I was like, oh, and I knew who he was, right? I was like, oh, that's Completionist, cool. But I can't imagine just being a fan of his and just feeling that gut punch. Like I got glimpses of it on my Reddit where his subreddit will pop up and it just like always posting videos of Mutahar stuff, and I'm like, ooh.
It's also brought to light a lot of people to kind of re-examine older controversies with the completionist too. Like when Greg had left the completionist, or that one gamer company, whatever the fuck the actual parent org of the completionist is. One of the things that he just kind of simply said was he left over money concerns. And that was like the most detail he went into, and a lot of people were just like, "Oh, he's just being greedy about his own pay." It's like, maybe Homeboy knew something.
Can you imagine if you look at that guy's Twitter, he's just a happy face the first day that the video comes out? Yeah, that's I don't understand how you could be an interpersona like that and not just make sure you do everything correctly. That'd be the most stressful part of it all, is like not doing anything shitty or having like anything like that pop up, because if you fuck up like this and you do that and you're getting dug up, like everything you've done is getting dug up. In which case, why the fuck is it even worth it? Honestly, I'd pay $700,000 to not have to deal with that. He's not even like a broke dude too, so like even if he kept every single penny of that shit, it's like you probably still you had a decent living.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, G4 going down, dude, that fucked him over.
It's true. It made him desperate.
Yeah. Being in the vicinity of fucking Adam Sessler just fucks you.
That's unfortunate, man. I used to think he was a decent individual, and that man is fucking insane.
He is off the fucking rockers, dude. Absolutely terrible. Same thing with Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah, oh man, another scam artist there.
That one hurts too, dude, because I love Judgment Day. Judgment Day is what shit. And I actually enjoyed following Tommy on his stuff, even like Mega 64 and stuff. Like, that was the good shit. But man, like, I don't know.
Shout outs to being able to buy games for a console that doesn't exist yet still.
Hard pass. Hey,
I on it, you can still get the whole bundle for like $150. I'm still like so fucking tempted just for the novelty to drop it, just so I can say I have games for a console that doesn't exist.
You ever see a video that was made on him?
You gotta be more specific.
There was a long form video. I forget from who the guy was. My best friend showed it to me when I was in Reno, because I was showing him the Defunct Land thing, and he was like, "Oh, I watched this thing on Tommy Tallarico, and it was supposed to be like the origins of the oof noise."
No, I haven't seen anything about that. The Slopes Game Room did really good coverage on this, though.
It was a fantastic video. So someone was going to do a video on the origin of the oof noise, and he gets through it in like 15 minutes, but you know that video is like an hour or some long. He's like, "All right, so guys, I got to be honest with you right here. Originally, this video was gonna be only about the original, or where the oof noise came from." And I started doing research on this motherfucker, and holy fuck, he just goes down this fucking rabbit hole of just everything that he just fucked up with. And it's gaming racist is the most egregious thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You ever heard that quote from him?
No.
He was complaining about people on Review Tech USA's stream. He was complaining about people shit talking them or something, and he called them gaming racists.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
What a cuck.
Again, it sucks. I love Judgment Day. The idea of video games live was always cool.
Conceptually, I thought it was neat.
Yeah, he's a scam artist, and all of his shit's just fucked. Shout out to Victor Lucas. Victor Lucas, pristine dude. Awesome guy.
You know, it's truly one of those things that as the years go on, I sit here and I'm like, is it worth acting? There's a lot to be said about Paris.
Anymore.
There's nothing sacred anymore, but like truly, it's kind of one of those shitty things that it's like, we've talked about the dangers of parasocial relationships a little bit before in the past, but it's still one of those things that I'm like, it kind of sucks that like there really is just an ever waning list of individuals that are not fucking horrendous. that somehow life gives some of the more heinous fucking individuals access to a lot of fucking things that like good talented people don't.
You gotta wonder. Everyone has their demons and their ghosts in their closet, right? Everyone's done some shit. That's human. And if you haven't grown from that, that's where it gets bad. But the egregiousness is always varied, obviously. And then you gotta wonder: is it the fact that they've got the fame or the money that really fucks with them?
Mm.
Like, I don't know. And that's just, I think that's just the world as it's gonna be from now on. Just the more open things get, right? Because I'm sure there's not just more fucked up people now. It's just a matter of they're just outed or they're just more notable. There's a paper trail.
Yeah.
Kells, didn't they change the console to now use your phone instead of controllers?
Yes. The console still doesn't actually exist, but yes, they did.
Yeah, what console? They don't have a console. How can they change the console? There's no console. Um,
It's happening. Give it time.
Victor Lucas is an awesome person, so hopefully that sticks around. I got it. Shout outs to Freeze Cracker Podcast. I got an interview with them because I was his 500 follower. That shows my age on Twitter. My internet kept cutting out back then, and the end of the episode was like a fake argument with all of us. And he told me, "Yeah, get your mom to buy you better internet, dude." It was funny. He's a good guy. Let's see. Here you go. I'm looking at just top posts of Reddit this week for games. Baldur's Gate 3 Patch 5 adds new playable epilogue with 3,500 lines of extra dialogue.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Alan Wake 2 wins Times Game of the Year.
Fascinating.
List of Times Game of the Year. I want to see how
Times New Roman Game of the Year.
Yeah, let's look and see what
Crack they were smoking.
I want to see what Game of the Year is they to now. I agree with them. I'm not on that boat. I was also looking at that. Apparently, if you want like the most, let me get that a second. Cal said, "I'm pissed about the Baldur's Gate 3 patch. Played it, beat it, ending sucked, and needed the epilogue. Oof. Glad I waited. Because people are always mad. Oh, the Game Awards snub this, snub that, and I get it, but like also I don't. I'm like, who the fuck cares? There's a billion different Game Awards. But like the Game Awards is the most wide net mainstream thing you're gonna have. And still be critical about it. So like everyone gets a voice, but I think I was watching Alana Pierce talk about it, and they said that like everyone gets a voice, and it pretty much doesn't come down to like who played the game the most, right? So it's like, and you know what? That falls 100 billion% in my theory from I think I mentioned last year, the year prior, as to why an indie game will never become Game of the Year, is because that it's not mainstream enough. Everyone's gonna play your big AAA games, which means that it's gonna have more votes. But like Hades winning Game of the Year, fucking would have loved it. Holy shit, that would have been the most amazing.
Hades would have been the best chance to ever probably have an indie get Game of the Year.
Like Celeste was up there, but like Hades was the one, and that's gone obviously. And I think that was a tough one because too that was against God of War and Red Dead, I believe, that year.
Yeah.
But it's anyway, and that's why it stands by my theory. But they get a all publications that are on it, which are a ton, get to nominate games, and they get a like a flyer back about which one you pick, and it's pretty much office count, which the grand scheme of things is whatever game got played the most, right? But she was saying that if you ever want like the most like accurate, like this is the Game of the Year, the BAFTA apparently is the one to go to, because
interesting.
They expect every reviewer to at least play the game. So they give codes to every reviewer that's on the panel for each of the games. Now, like as you said, and that's fair. Is like you can't expect them to like hover over you and play the game and beat it to completion, but like
Yeah,
you expect as a reward show, yeah, an award show, that if you're given those codes and you're on that panel, that you're gonna do that, right? So it's about
but
as
BAFTA doesn't have game reveal trailers.
this is true, but that's why BAFTAs tend to be considered like the closest to what should be
Being
Game of
like
the
an
Year.
objective.
Right, which is interesting. You'd agree 100% with one of this though, which says that. Let me go through a couple of these games though, see what you think, because these are pretty wild. Uh, 2022, David. What if I told you it was an indie roguelike? Does anything come to mind?
In 2022, fuck, I don't remember what came out last year.
This is true. Vampire Survivor won Game of the Year last year.
Interesting, interesting. All right.
Returnal won the year prior. Hades won the year prior. Outer Wilds, God of War. Then here you go. What Remains of Edith Finch won Game of the Year that year.
Good shit, good shit.
And then I have to look at what released these years, but you got like Uncharted 4, Fallout 4, Destiny. I don't know if I agree with any of those, but I mean the last like 6-7 years, pretty solid picks. Like I respect those.
Yeah.
Cause I could see an indie game getting a nomination or win Game of the Year for a few reasons. Quote, indie is already being used pretty fast and loosely, and we've already seen a few get close as it's only happening more frequent. Yeah, they're getting close, but the thing is, just AAA games are hitting heavier and heavier. You need to have a year like 2018, I believe, or no, 2019, I think it was. Whenever Resident Evil 2 came out, where it was like everything is like a solid 8, and then that means the indie game has a chance. But unfortunately, you just like look and there's like a heavy hitter just coming out constantly now, so it's hard to say. But hopefully. But anyway, let's see. I want to look at Time Magazine's Game of the Year. Time Magazine. Oh. All right. Time Magazine's been doing this since 2006. What do you think Time Magazine's first Game of the Year was? You wouldn't know because you don't know years. It's Wii Sports.
Hold on, let me pull up my game collection here. Let
I
me
already spoiled it.
sort by
Did
release
you
year.
hear what I said? Or
No,
no?
let me try to make a guess.
You didn't hear what I said
All
then?
right. No.
Perfect. 2006.
All right, 2006. All right, I have 83 games from that year.
Okay.
All right, let's see. We got Half-Life 2 Episode 1. We got Twilight Princess, Final Fantasy 12.
I'll tell you if you even list it, which I think you should.
Red Steel.
I was always against that game when it was coming out, and I stand by it at launch. But playing it, I played it a couple years ago. It was all right. It's fun.
I have always enjoyed it. You know what? They recognize the beauty that is Odama.
Fair.
Or maybe they're based and they enjoy SWAT 4. Yeah, the only one on this list, unless it's like something really out of left field and it's like Lego Star Wars 2.
Think of Wide Net and actually pretty timeless.
Why Net and Timeless?
You definitely have this game.
Of course, it's Sneak King.
Oh. I can
The
promise
EverQuest Titanium Edition.
No, I can promise you have this game.
Resistance: Fall of Man.
Judging from the other games you listed, you 100% have this game, unless you actively sold it.
WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2K7.
Starts with that same letter though.
Starts with a W.
W.
Oh, Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Yeah.
Not a bad pick, honestly. Like I get it. You know
No,
what?
like I get it.
A respectable choice because it is kind of a timeless game, and that was a banger game for a lot of people. Let me go through the games and tell me if anything stands out, because now I'm curious. Halo 3, GTA
Okay.
4, Modern Warfare 2. Funny enough, 2010 Alan Wake, 2011 Minecraft, 2012 Guild Wars 2, GTA 5 for 2013, 80 Days for 2014. Huh? Interesting. Prune. What the fuck is Prune? I've never heard of that game. The Witness, Breath of the Wild, God of War, Hades, Metroid Dread, God of War Ragnarok, and Alan Wake 2.
All right.
Hades should have won that year. Let's just be real. It should have won that year.
Again, I think for major mass media outlets, if ever there was a time for an indie to win, that would be it.
What the fuck? Hold on. I think I just came across there's a how did this lose? Okay. US Gamer 2020 Hades Game of the Year. Time Magazine 2020 Hades Game of the Year. Polygon 2020 Hades Game of the Year. IGN 2020 Hades Game of the Year. Hardcore Gamer picked Ghost of Tsushima, so hardcore. Giant Bomb Hades 2020. Games Radar. GameSpot gave it to Half-Life Alyx. Game Informer gave it to Last of Us Part 2. That's what it was, huh? Eurogamer gave it to Hades.
Ridley, no one gave it to Doom Eternal.
No.
Pieces of shit.
Empire and then Entertainment Weekly gave it to Last of Us Part 2.
No one gave it to Maneater.
EGM gave it to Last of Us Part 2. What the fuck does this you mean? Edge Magazine just didn't give one in 2020? Literally, that's the only year they didn't give one? Okay. Easy Allies.
They were edging people.
Yeah, Easy Allies, Half-Life Alyx, Destructoid, Hades, Ars Technica, Hades, South by Southwest, Hades, New York Game Awards, Hades, Japan Game Awards, Animal Crossing. What up, Abaki? Golden Joystick was Last of Us. The Game Developers Choice Awards was Hades. Yeah, what the fuck is this shit? Winners determined by a blended vote between voting jury 90% and public fan voting 10%. And the issue with that is that the jury panel consists of members from 96 global media outlets. So when you cast that wide of a net with so many people, it's like it's gonna be a popularity contest with just like that versus the most critically, I think.
But it's so weird because so many outlets gave it to fucking Hades.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's a conspiracy here. Fuck this. But then you think about that, it's like even if all those listed Hades, you're talking like another 80 some outlets that still have to throw their hat in the ring, and it's gonna be Last of Us because everyone played the fucking game. Not gonna lie, David. I think every game aside from Last of Us Part 2 deserved to win that.
Fair.
There was Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. That's not me being bitter either, by the way. What do you hope wins Game of the Year? I know you don't really give a shit, but what do you just think? Like, what do you really want to pull it out for? In your heart of hearts.
I don't even remember what fucking 3 games
Alan Wake,
are.
Baldur's Gate, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man, Resident Evil 4, Mario Wonder.
You know what? I hope Baldur's Gate. I don't want fucking Dungeons and Dragons getting any good press, but I hope it's that.
Okay. You can just say Alan Wake 2 for me, huh? All right.
No.
God damn it, David. I'm just so excited to have a discussion with this game. I'm like top 3 just like excited for you to eventually play this game someday in the future for us to talk about it.
Yeah, next year for Games Gone By.
Do you need a year away from it? Is that what you're asking for directly?
I mean, I'm just saying that's probably going to be the soonest I will, of my own volition, get around to playing it.
Okay, I'll deal with that. It's only 6 more months. ish. Well, no, that's not next season, so I got another. I don't know, 10 months. That's fine. New Game Plus is coming out here. Probably people are expecting to be a shadow drop at the Game Awards, and the New Game Plus is supposed to have new dialogue and a new ending, which I'm excited for. So I'm giving me any goddamn excuse to play that game again. That's fine with me. Let me see. Let me go back over here. Final Fantasy 16 actor criticized job security in games industry amid thousands of layoffs. Quote, honestly, are we going to get serious? Stardew Valley, a ton of progress on 1.6 last month. It's self-imposed extreme crunch mode, nose to grindstone, raw nose mode. What was shown to be added? Ooh, there's a big chest in there. You can hold double the amount of a regular chest. That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Destiny 2 has been pulled the starter pack from Steam Store due to player feedback.
It was the fact that Angry Video Game Nerd got hit to high fucking hell.
Oh, with the plagiarism?
No, that was Internet Historian. Angry Video Game Nerd with the whole swearing rules now in videos.
Yeah. David, apparently the Game Awards 2023 will run roughly 2.5 to 3 hours, confirms Jeff Keighley, teasing fewer games ahead of the show this time compared to past show, as there are more quote-unquote new game reveals.
So more revealed, but it's going to be spread out throughout as opposed to front loading it more in the beginning. Probably also in order to help viewer retention, because if you put all your most important shit in the beginning.
Right. I'm going to put my food in the oven. David, can you vamp for like 2 minutes? I want to ask you a question and we can send off here.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
All right, chat. Let me pull up the chat so that way I can actually see what chat is saying. Where is that tab? Here it is. At Becky in the chat, how goes it? Kels, I can see an indie game getting a nom or a win in Game of the Year for a few different reasons. Indie is already being used pretty fast and loosely too. We've already had a few get close, and yeah, it's one of those also bizarre things that I feel like indie games that should be getting attention don't, in the sense that like The Coffin of Andrew and Lele, for instance, has been one of the most commercially successful indie games in a very long time and has blown up ridiculously well. But because it has like a very small vocal group of people that hate on it, I feel like the game gets zero attention from mass media in that regard, which is very unfortunate because truly that game deserves far more recognition. But I do think it's one of those things that even if you use indie in the loosest sense possible, I really don't think we'll get to a point where an indie game proper is winning is winning Jeff Keighley's Game of the fucking Year award there. It's gonna stay to something far more mainstream in order to keep it active, just because sponsor money.
Yeah, no one's there's no prestige behind the Game Award just because of what it is currently. But maybe one day, I don't know.
The only thing that matters about Game Awards is them fat trailers.
Hey, Kels, I don't know if you watched Giant Bomb at all. I kind of stopped, but their Game of the Year videos popped up on my feed, which is a lot earlier than they usually do, I think. But if you're curious, I think day one, it was day one that they had a whole ass category called favorite Alan Wake 2 character. That was a good category to listen to if you're interested. David,
yo,
out of everything in your mind for the Game Awards, what are you hoping to see and what are you hoping to get?
I look forward to the third person jumping on stage. I look forward to Jeff Keighley being swarmed by literal armed fucking guards.
What would you do if someone walked up, tried to do some shit, and he'd pull out the fucking Glock and just like live, it said, "I dare you to do it again."
Jesus Christ, that would be fucking amazing.
I would not be traumatized by seeing someone killed in front of me. However, hey, you shouldn't have done it. Talk shit, get hit, dude. Stupid game.
They had it coming.
But like game wise, obviously, like what are you hoping? Like, what do you think? You can
What
see?
am I hoping for?
Yeah, like what's your hopeful thing that even if it's not something that would show up here, what do you think is a realm of ounce of possibility? And what do you think you want more of, even if it's already out there right now?
Well, I think what we're gonna get more of is now that 16 has finally released and has had its chance to shine. FF7 Remake Part 2 is around the corner.
We're seeing
so we're gonna
more
get
of that.
a lot more of that.
Yeah.
As for what I want, I mean,
God,
on the subject,
I just realized, you know how fucked up this year would have been if Rebirth came out
Remake
on
had
time.
actually dropped in December.
Fucking hell, dude.
If it's like the schedule was actually dropped in December, could you imagine?
This year would have been, if it did drop this year, this year is 100 billion% the best year of gaming. Abaki, Adrian Swears Fire, thank you. Shouts to Mr. Nook. We're gonna see Final Fantasy 7. I agree. Do you think you'll see Metaphor? If Atlas is smart,
Metaphor isn't releasing until like end of next year, isn't it?
I don't know, but they're smart. They need some fucking eyes on that thing.
They don't put the press cycle up until usually within 6 months of release. So if we see Metaphor, then we know it's coming.
I mean,
if we don't see Metaphor, it's still a ways out.
I'm surprised they showed it off then, but I feel like they need to, but that's fair.
We got, and when the Switch was revealed, we got SMT5 teaser, and it was like 6 years later that we finally got it.
Yeah, and we got it, so fuck off.
It's true, which is better than Metroid Prime 4. Still one of the only reveals that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, shouts to Retro out there.
Doing whatever it is they do.
Do we see Metroid Prime 4 here?
Absolutely not.
Imagine.
I think that game's dead.
We saw Bayonetta 3.
I don't think that's happening. I think that studio has been overtaken by literal children, and there's just blanket forts everywhere. No business is conducted, and Nintendo forgets to check up on it because, as far as they're concerned, it's a tax write-off office.
What the fuck happened? I need to look that up.
While you're looking that up, speaking of Final Fantasy, though, one thing that I do suspect to see, because there's been a lot of talk. So, remember the GeoForce leak? There's still two big things we're waiting for on those leaks. One of which is a little sus, because Square Enix went out of their way to be like, no, it's not happening. Don't worry about that. And one, we're still waiting for the Final Fantasy IX remake, and we're still waiting for the Final Fantasy Tactics remake. And Tactics, Square Enix outright took the time to be like, no, it's not happening. Don't worry about it. Which, if you take them at their face value word, then okay. They're debunking, maybe it was intended, and they just were like, fuck, we're not going to do it. But that still leaves the FF9 remake. And there was the anime that was announced for it, and it was shown off at a few film festivals, just in like small groups. But that still hasn't been officially seen 3 years later. I think maybe it's time that we go ahead and get that Final Fantasy IX remake as well news drummed up, as well as maybe finally get to fucking see that anime.
Do you think that's a lot of Final Fantasy remakes at one spot, though?
I think that's Square Enix in a nutshell, so yeah.
I feel like
they could go ahead and be like, the remake news you guys have been wanting to see, and then they play FF9. It's like, and this other one that some of you I'm sure care about, and then they do the 7 stuff.
I could see it that if when 7 comes out, that they go full force into this 9 part. Like, I mean, give 7, put it out there, and then it comes out end February.
Yeah, because think about it, because we still got like initial like, hey, trust us, 7's around the corner eventually, when 6 was being worked on, but it was just like a reminder that, hey, it exists, and then they focus back. And I think that's what this will be, is that, hey, 9 remake does exist, Also, here's the anime. And now, by the way, here's what we want you to actually focus on for the moment.
I could see them not doing that, but then after 7 at E3 or whatever because we don't call it's pretty much E3. Everyone
We
does
don't
their
have
shit.
E3 anymore.
I know,
That,
but
that's
like
just
everyone releases their shit in June. But like whatever Square Enix decides to do in June, even like a State of Play, I feel like that's their way to start going. All right, we're done with 7. Put it in the back burner for a couple years. Let's do 9 because now we're mainlined out. Now we're 7 lined out. What's next? It has to be that.
yeah, because I don't suspect that we'll get 17 for probably 3-4 more years.
Yeah. So and it sold questionably, which is interesting, right? Didn't it? Like it
No, it sold well. It just didn't
Sell
sold
to
to
Square Enix,
fucking
yes.
Square Enix's weird inflated standards. Because several million sales are not fucking happy to them.
Yeah.
When you release on a single fucking platform in this era, and it's not PC.
Cancel culture and their PCs. I get it. Yeah, it's that's wild. But even like critically, at least they gotta at least be happy about that. I think. Yeah. So 9 is gonna happen. You think? What else?
What else?
Do you have any dream game you think is gonna be like the banger? The because there's usually at least 1 or 2. Holy fuck!
Legend of Legaia remaster.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
go.
the only one. No.
You asked my dream game. You didn't say any.
Yeah. Is that's your pop off moment? Not even like a new one.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I'd want a remaster first, but yeah, I think it would be good to see Legaia 3. Truly though, at this point, I think we could start to see Hour Wash Simulator 2, maybe. I'd be excited for that. That'd kind of give me a little half chubby.
I'm trying to think of what game because like again, there's always like at least a like holy fuck. So like Hades 2, I felt like was for a lot of people like oh shit, Supergiant's making their first sequel, which is wild.
You know what? We still don't have the Persona 5 fighting game. That's still the one thing we're missing of the Persona 5 collection.
Yeah.
Maybe we finally get that.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened, honestly. Yeah, and then
Well, considering they partnered with, if I remember correctly, Arc System Works was the one that did the other two. They've kind of been busy.
Sure, but like it's Persona and it'll sell a lot more this time.
Yeah, but Arc System Works has had Dragon Ball, it's had Guilty Gear.
Yeah, but still.
They've been busy. I think now that Dragon Ball is officially done because they put out the rollback netcode, and I think that's like the last patch it's getting.
Right.
I can see that being something where that's finally done now.
Right. What about like some big sequel? Because again, like Hades 2, I'll Wait 2 actually announced at the Game Awards. What's the big sequel that you think would be like?
You know what? Harada comes on stage and he's like, I
Tekken
know you
9.
guys are all excited about Tekken 8, but we're also going to announce Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
The FGC would fucking flip, dude.
It was all a ruse, and it's like Tekken 8, and then the fucking thing crumbles, and the 8 turns into like a versus.
Can you imagine for a second we get that Tekken 8 trailer, because there's a good chance Tekken 8 might even be show up. Say Tekken 8 trailer?
Yeah, because I imagine we'll start to see DLC characters and shit.
Right. But imagine they had, I know I got data mine, imagine they managed to somehow add one more character just to, they knew they were data mine, but they didn't want one spoiler. Then imagine you're a Hadouken. Just imagine, David, for a second. Just how close that world is.
Just every Tekken has to have a guest Street Fighter character.
Yeah.
From now until eternity.
I wanna Kiryu.
I mean, that actually has a possibility of happening now that the series creator is gone.
I'm sorry, it should have happened. I understand what we said about why he doesn't want it. I don't agree. Give Kiryu. And then Snake's gonna
Yeah.
happen, David. So I know you don't think it's gonna happen. Just watch and learn.
I mean, you still doubt that LJN will come back from the grave. It's gonna happen.
That's the big announcement. LJN 2.
That's right. I think part of the problem at this point is like I don't know what would really make me pop off like that right now, because I think a lot of we've already had this year a lot of the shit I've been hyped for, and we already know a lot of shit next year already that I'm like, fuck yes, give. So I don't know really what else would make me go, oh yeah, I've been missing that. I mean, I guess maybe we get finally some more look into Silent Hill F.
Imagine a new Nier. It's time, David.
I mean,
It's time.
Yoko Taro has said that he does still want to do a sequel to Automata.
It's time, David. Replicant.
I don't think it's time yet.
Replicant came out when?
It was earlier this year, wasn't it, or was it last year? No, it had to have been last year.
Let's see. 2021, David.
Oh, 2021. All right.
So it's been 2 years, and that was a remake. Remember that?
Yeah, but that basically had to be overhauled from the ground up.
But like writing wise and stuff like that, you don't have to do too much. That wasn't like an egregious like amount like a whole ass new Nier game.
I think we're still maybe 2 years at least out from a new Nier.
AKA trailer time.
I'd hope not. I wouldn't want anything until the year of. Because the last thing I want is to be like, oh yeah, what happened in Nier? I don't want this to be the next fucking SMT5 for me, or I'm like, where is it? Where is it? It's supposed to be here any day now.
Okay, let's say it's coming out next year. How hype would you be? Levels 1 through 10.
I'd be very fucking hyped, honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah. I just don't think it's gonna happen, so it's hard for me to think about like how hyped I'd be. I genuinely don't think that's a possibility. I think we're still like 2 years out.
God, how nice would that be though? Silent Hill 2 remake get shown maybe?
Yeah, because I think that one's probably closer to coming out, because we still have the Silent Hill 2 remake. We have Silent Hill F. We have that the weird kind of indie-looking Silent Hill game. Oh, plus there was Splitterhead. Remember that one? Where that was like made by some of the older Silent Hill folks. We still haven't seen hide nor hair of that game at all, and that one looked pretty fucking great.
Resident Evil 9?
Could be on track for an RE9. I'm not excited, but
I mean, we're past. They've been releasing a Resident Evil every year.
yeah, and this year was 4 remakes, so theoretically, I guess we could be on target for 9 next year.
Huh.
Or maybe we finally get Code Veronica remake.
Dead Space 2 remake.
Hell yeah, just remake all of them.
They should. Especially 3, I hear.
You know what? Fuck it. Yakuza Dead Souls remake. Let's go.
Yeah, you would love that, huh?
I actually fucking ironically would love the shit out of that.
I know. Yeah, it's fine. I got the game right here, David. You can play the disc, right?
I still need to get that for my collection, but yeah.
Again, I don't understand how I end up with games you don't.
It's because I know their value isn't, or at least I'm presuming their value isn't going anywhere in most cases. So I'm just like, yeah, I'll get to that eventually.
As a GameCube collector, never presume. Buy now.
Well, thankfully, a lot of the fucking collecting landscape is normalizing a bit now.
It's normalizing to a new norm, which means it's higher than it it was, and it will never go down to where it used to be, but it will be lower than it was spiking at.
Yeah, because I've consistently watched my collection drop in value by like $5,000 for the past 2 months.
It's, like, you gotta sell now, dude.
I would rather it. I'd
Sell
rather
now.
that happen. Fuck
Fuck.
no. I
Yeah.
hoard. I don't sell. That's why I still think anyone that fucking gets into graded games is an absolute dirty fucking cuck, because the only purpose to get a collected game, graded game is to sell, and in which case, no, you're artificially inflating the value of the market. You're a piece of shit. Fuck off.
Was Gore on the podcast when he did the graded games?
Yeah.
Is that why
I
he
told him
did
he was a piece of shit for
Oh,
it.
did you? I forget.
Yeah.
I hate grading. I think it doesn't look great. It's like, you put that shit in a box and if it looks nice, it looks nice. Like it just
Yeah, like actually shadow frame it. If you want to be like, yes, look at this rare thing I have, then put it in a fucking proper shadow box and like actually display it as an art piece or some shit.
Yeah, and just putting it in like those holders that they have like at Best Buy that you have to go and get unlocked to get the game just looks stupid, I think.
Yeah.
I just never had interest in it. And I'm sure there's some games I could have popped in there and made a good chunk on, but I just don't give a shit. I had to explain to a non-gamer girlfriend what grading is and how it's killed everything. Because I was
Literally everything wrong with America.
I was going through my GameCube collection, kind of talking about that, and I was like, yeah, it. Am I super proud of my GameCube collection? Hell yeah. You know what kind of like genuinely sucks is I can never tell someone in good faith to join me on a collection journey on a GameCube. Like it sucks. Like I have so much fun collecting this console, and actually I shouldn't say that. I enjoy doing it. I don't have fun spending the money, but I enjoy collecting for the console. But it's like,
unless the GameCube is an important console to you, there's no hopping on the collecting bandwagon. That is a whale of a system now.
right. Even then, though, I can't in good faith even say like tell a GameCube diehard to like get into it. Like you're spending MSRP $10 over MSRP, or even like when it released 20 years ago MSRP for this game. It's like, no, that's not cool.
No, 100%. If you want the original GameCube experience, get yourself a GameCube, mod it with a fucking SD card reader, like I do on mine, and there you go. Fucking enjoy.
Yeah, it just kind of sucks that it's like, I can't really share this exact hobby with like, oh, what game do you get? Oh, what game do you get? Just to kind of build on that. I'm not gonna really share that with anyone. So that's always kind of a bummer. But I was explaining that to her, and it was. I think it made sense because it was just like, yeah, the grading market came in, fucked everything up, especially being so scammy and like making it like, oh look, Mario Bros sold for $10 million. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
You guys are faking that shit. And it just sucks because then you look at videos from like 10, 15 years ago about how, how when you first saw an Angry Video Game Nerd video, you were like, holy fuck, he has like fucking every game ever. That, if you had like a comfortable living, you could get that. Like if when he first popped up on the YouTube scene, 2006,
Yeah.
if you were making decent money, not crazy money, decent money, enough where you could pay all your stuff that you owe, which, hey, shout outs to the economy. Economy was a lot better back then. But if you could pay all the stuff that you own and like have your funny money, that was a feasible thing, dude. That shit ain't feasible now.
No.
Like what you have behind you pales in size in comparison to what AVG had 25 years ago, 20 years ago. And yours costs a lot more, I bet.
I think just because I have a lot of high ticket items, probably.
Right. But like the wall for AVGN did not matter. Like it was like every game was pretty much there. Like that man made like a fucking library when he went through his games. Like, oh, I'm gonna go play Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He walks over and is like, "Ooch."
Well, even especially because like I didn't get into collecting for like the TurboGrafx slash PC Engine at the right time, unfortunately. That is a console that used to be one of the cheapest to collect for. Most games for that console would go for like $5 to $10 because no one gave a shit about it. And now so many games you're lucky if you can find for like 40. And we're not even talking like the good ones. We're talking about like the fucking shovelware equivalents on it.
I genuinely think it's like I think grading is what fucked everything, and it was their
Yes.
fake like their fake hype, and it was those articles, the $10 million for Mario Brothers, that just for whatever reason people picked up on, and then the mainstream media picked up on that shit, which sucks. But I mean, that's like when I worked at the game shop, people would come in with like a Mario game, but it wouldn't even be like, it would be like Mario 2. How much do you get this? You could be like $3 to $5 for it. Oh, what?
Yeah.
It's
The problem is it made normies think that the average game had value.
oh, I can go into my parents' attic and I have that game right there. Oh, I'm a millionaire. No, you're not.
Go through eBay listings. How many times do you see the most? I will see at Call of Duty, original Call of Duty, or fucking whichever one. The original Call of Duty, PS2. I will see them put rare in the fucking title. That's like, no, there's nothing rare about that.
There's millions upon millions upon millions of copies that are flown out there.
And so many normies are now just like, oh, it's for an old console, so it must be rare at this point. Everyone thinks they got free tendies that they're sitting on. You know, again, we've talked about this a lot before. You used to be able to find good deals still at like fucking flea markets and at yard sales and shit.
Are always like the go-to, and they still are technically. Like you're not. In fact, if anything, you're never getting a game at a decent price unless it's a yard sale now. But the problem is, the problem is that
see good deals at
90%
my
of
area
yard
at
sales
least.
now, they see video games, they price that shit up.
Yeah.
And to their credit, even prior to WATA, if like I saw, actually hold on thought, my food's about to come out of the oven. I'll jump right on this topic right when I get back in a second.
All right, while you're going on to grab that, I'll add to that because also I'll admit another aspect that we didn't really touch on just yet that is important to that is the factor of COVID. When everyone was kind of inside and isolated, everyone was like, I need something to do. Video games became another big secondary boom of like, well, I can just sit back at home, relax, and enjoy something. I don't necessarily need to go out to do it. And the other harsh part that does get touched on sometimes, but I feel doesn't get brought up enough, is the fact that nostalgia for consoles and games comes in cycles. You know, the Atari era was the first one to have its big boom in popularity, where, you know, around like the 90s, a lot of people were trying to like mass collect for the Atari again. But Atari has now basically hit its bedrock. It'll pretty much always be stagnant in its prices. And then after that was the NES, and then the Super Nintendo. We just now unfortunately hit the era where the PS2, GameCube, original Xbox are now in their stride of that next, oh, I kind of want to go back to my childhood and enjoy those again cycle. And pretty soon, as weird and disgusting it is to say, you know, and give it another maybe 5 years or so, we'll get that with the PS3 and 360, where a lot of people are just wanting that nostalgic experience for those, and then those start to spike again because of it.
As a vocal line in the ET documentary for the Atari, I agree. So I'll say this too. I think I guess I shouldn't talk too much shit because I technically kind of did it, but not as egregiously, I feel like. So Phoenix Resell, I followed him on YouTube for a while. I was enjoying the GameCube collection. I immediately turned it off when I was turned off because he collected his GameCube collection, which, by the way, it's like fans will donate this shit to him, which I'm like, oh, motherfucker, you're just getting that shit, okay? Fans were like,
I
oh,
wish we could be popular enough for people just to give us shit.
it was that, or like fans would sell him their shit, knowing full well he doesn't give you like a solid value because he flips it himself.
Yeah.
But it's like the thing that burned me because I'm like I was already kind of iffy the way he did deals sometimes. He would haggle the fuck out of people, and it was like, and I think Chris actually shared the sentiment. If I found a rare like DS or something at like some unknowing yard sale, am I gonna buy that shit? Yes. Am I gonna haggle them down more? Absolutely the fuck not. I think that's scummy. I think because if you haggle someone down further after you already scored a big deal, I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna call you out too.
No, I'm scummy. I'll admit, I'm scummy. I will always haggle.
Oh, I don't agree with it. It's like, all right, because I already feel like I'm ripping you off as a person, and I get the whole like do your research, but like there's only so much time, and also like sometimes it's not even like about that. Sometimes like, oh, maybe the son passed away or something that I'm gonna go through their shit with, and I'm not gonna haggle down. I'll haggle down if I happen to like, if it's unwilling or unknowing. Okay, but like I'll haggle a lot. But if I know the value of that thing and I know it's like if I know I'm already like getting $150 score off something, I would never haggle. I feel like
I think it's fair to say I will haggle to a certain amount. Because I've mentioned it before on the podcast, the way I get some of my eBay pickups dirt cheap as well is I'll just follow the same items that have a make an offer option, and I'll just keep track of how long they're on there, and I'll just keep
no
throwing out low
that. So
balls.
I'm
And
saying if you're at a yard sale,
yeah,
let's say you saw a Pikachu 3DS, and let's say
mm,
they didn't know what it was worth, $50. Okay, sold.
okay,
But
fair
like,
enough. Speaking of which, I do have a coworker selling one.
how much?
Oh, so I think I made the mistake of telling him what it's worth. So
I'll say if it was in a decent realm, I would offer to buy that.
yeah, because it was one of those things like, oh, I might try to go sell this to GameStop. Like, no, stop, don't try to do that. And I helped him price out his collection, and he's got like a $2,000 worth of a 3DS
Anything I
library
would like?
currently. He's got all the Pokemon games, but they're all loose.
How much do they want the DS for though?
I've educated him on price charting, so it'd be going by price charting value.
You get
So
educated
let me
on
take
price.
a
So here's the thing: is you can educate on price charting all you want. It's hard to sell at value sometimes, which is why it's kind of that,
Yes.
right? It's the convenience factor versus the effort and having to wait.
So yeah, it's currently sitting at loose 360.
How much are you offering?
I think when I last talked with him, it was at like 300-ish.
Oh, okay, never mind. If it was like a $200 thing, I would have totally just did it.
No.
Anyway, but
If
like,
it was if I could have convinced him for 200, I would have got it.
sure. But I also didn't think you gave a shit enough. For a Pikachu thing, you're not that big of a Pokemon person, and 3DS is a handheld you like, but not like something you're crazy over. So I figured you'd be like, yeah,
No, but I do need to start getting a stockpile of them.
that's fair.
I have a stockpile of GameCubes and PS2s. I need to actually get a couple more for spare parts and shit. But
so anyway, like going back to that,
yeah,
if you're getting a yard sale and someone like an old lady selling you 50, I wouldn't say, would you take 40 for this? That's some scummy shit, I think.
that's
I'm sorry.
that's fair.
I think
In that context, in that exact context, that's fair.
if you're in person and you see that and you just know, because I guess when you put the computer as the veil, you're just putting offers out there and you get it, you don't, you don't. But
Yeah.
you're also throwing a net out there. It's like if someone's willing to say yes to that, that's different. But like if you're like at a place, if you're at a thrift store, at a whatever, like it's like I think if you know what you're getting, it's so lame, I think. And I don't know. I don't understand why you'd be so excited to like give him stuff or like sell him your stuff for less value than you could. I don't know. Just even my favorite content creators, I can't even think of any right now, but I can imagine I'd be like, yeah, buy my copy of Fire Emblem for $100. No. What? In fact, I know
Sign
you
my
make
penis
money.
while you're at it.
I know you make money, so give me full price. What's wrong with you?
That's for you, 20% extra.
And what threw me off was that he went through a whole thing, getting his whole GameCube collection. Like, okay, it did some fans pick you up, make you do your shit like that? Yeah, sure, okay, whatever. You got a better quote unquote collection than I do. Courtesy of some of your fans getting you over that edge. A little bitter about it, sure, but whatever. But then he just sold it.
What was the point?
Fucking exactly. He hypes up like, oh no, GameCube was one of my favorites. It's been growing up there, so I made a list of like all these games I've always wanted to buy for this game or for this challenge, and then he just did it, and then just like sold most, if not all of it. I think
Truly, what was the point then?
He might have kept a couple of the scraps on there and some of the bigger things, but I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is the point? Like, if you're collecting it for like a collector's thing, and it was like always in the back of your like video, like cool, good shit. But like, if you're gonna sell it, then what the fuck? Just say, "Oh, I'm getting this whole thing to sell." Like the fact that you even like say collecting in that, you're not collecting, you're just selling. Like that's
Yeah, at that point, you are intentionally trying to flip shit.
yeah, keep it real there. Like you're just flipping, and that's what your channel is. Cool. Why? I don't know why you need to lie about it. It just rubs me the wrong way. But he started doing that. I saw like I was super into it for a little while. Like it burned me a little bit when he was getting like help from fans. Cause I'm like, you got the whole point of collecting is like you were out there hustling. And if a fan just like so graciously just gives it to you, whatever. You gotta work for some shit still, right? Like it's just
Like truly, like shout outs to honestly the Scott the Waz video on collecting. Like that
Scott
that
the
video
Waz
still
is the only like content creator I know full well is an idiot with money. He is what you would be if you were on the scale of him.
If I still have my 6-figure salary.
Yeah. Like he just shows off his collection. He's like, I bought this. It looked cool.
Here's every known version and variant of Madden 08. Why? Oh, why not?
Yeah, it's the most.
Here's my 40 Wii U's because I don't
They
know.
had different boxes. Like that's the most fuck you money for someone that just is obviously an idiot. But like, yeah, he's not destitute. He's not begging like DSP, right? But like, he makes enough money for sure that he's like, fuck it, cool. He's literally.
But truly, I really like his video talking about game collecting because at the end he kind of posits the idea of like there are some days I do think about just like selling and just starting from scratch and having that feeling of knowing that every purchase again going forward has a personal connection to me again. Because he talks a lot about how, you know, especially in the beginning of collecting, we all go through this. Because it's a similar journey for many of us where it's like we start collecting with the vague remnants of what money we have as kids, and then as we grow into it, it's very much becomes like, oh, I feel like I need to get all these things because they're the popular things or they're the in things right now, and then it just kind of becomes into that thing where it's like you get it because yeah, I feel like I should get that, or that might be hard to get later on, and it's less personal, it's less of a collection of your stuff and more of a just reflection of what was available. You know, like if I were to start all this again from just fucking square one, it certainly probably wouldn't end up looking again like it does now.
That's a
honestly.
good camera angle, by the way. You need to stick with that shit more.
All right, I'll stick with this one a bit more.
Because it actually like shows stuff. I think at the beginning of Blue Rupees, towards the earlier episodes, you'd see a lot more of that where I just bought things for the sake of buying it. I'm not quite there, like 100 billion%. I can't say it confidently because there's games like Dragon Quest. What's the new one that came out just now on Switch?
The Dark Dragon Quest Monsters Dark Prince something.
Yeah, I'm hearing that's low print.
Ooh, goddamn.
Sorry to say that. So like things like that, yes, I'll buy because I'm like, all right, well, I do know like if it's I've been collecting Dragon Quest games as it is already. So it's like, sure, I'll grab
Yeah.
that. So next paycheck, I'm gonna grab that. But even you've tried to talk me into some purchases with the remnants of like it's gonna be hard to find later, and I feel like I've been a lot more solid this year than years prior, where I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm I'm at the point now where it's like I really want to make sure the purchases I make do me it because I did come across that road where it's like
Yeah.
I'm looking at all these games. In fact, I traded a group of games over to gamers a little while ago. I traded like maybe about 10 or 12 games. Um, yeah, and it was like I traded those 10 to 12 games for, and I showed this off last week, the Zelda DS games and Mischief Makers. Three
Yeah.
games that versus those 12 that I'm a lot more inclined to be happy with about. And I just like the idea that whenever I look at my collection, I can just like put my hand out wherever I want and I got something that is a banger or that I loved.
Well, I mean, it fucking took me ages to finally just let go of like the sports games that I knew I didn't give a shit about, but I was like, yeah, but it fills out the collection. And then I got a lot of shit out of it just because I had like fucking almost 200 some odd fucking sports games to sell.
you
But
fucked up. You should have waited. You should have done it like years ago when Radio Shack had that trade. You ever see the Radio Shack trade in?
no.
Radio Shack had trade in. I want to say around 2014. I want to say 2013, 2014, where it was trading literally anything, like electronic related wise, and you'll get $5.
God damn.
Does not matter what console, what sports game. It could have been a pair of headphones, $5. So I trade. That's when I traded in all my.
No wonder
sports
why
games.
they went out of business.
Traded on my sports games. I got my Yeti mic. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's exhausting and does burn the fun of collecting when you just get whatever the fuck you want. It just like I could look at a giant stack of games that I used to have, and I'm just like, if I have no inclination to ever play it, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Because when I worked at GameStop, we had cards you could apply towards trade-ins that added $5. I used it a ton. Shit.
God damn.
But
no, because that raises a good point because that kind of goes into where, like Chicken Shooter, just as an example, in the past, that's a series that, the games would just weirdly hyperinflate. And like, I've gotten a few games like that throughout my collection where it's like, I'm expecting that to potentially kind of hyperinflate at some point where I know at the end of the day in my heart, I'm never going to play them. I have zero interest in actually ever playing them. But I'm just kind of holding on to them because I'm like, well, at this point, maybe they'll kind of inflate at some point and I can get a little bit of extra value back. But like, that's something I do want to try to start being better about is to not get stuff just because I'm like, well, that might inflate later on down the road.
you're not gonna sell it. That's the issue.
Yeah, well, that's exactly why I also want to stop doing that.
Right.
Because again, it took me years to finally let go of sports games, and now to potentially get rid of something where it's like, well, I mean that's still a weird thing to be like, oh, here's a weird oddity in the collection.
I'll accept weird oddities, but like genuinely, I can tell now the only time I'm gonna break this rule, and I told the girlfriend this too, is like and I feel like I had to tell anyone that I date that just because I'm like, this is where it's gonna be, is like if I get the next like 10 to 12 games off the high tier list of GameCube stuff, I'm probably just gonna go for the full collection at that point. Because if I'm like talking like, if I have like the top 40, 50 like high value games in the whole
You
system,
can get your hands on Cubivore. Hopefully,
hopefully,
hopefully, I'll have good news for you. But
yeah, like that's because I'm like at that point I'm like, okay, well, why not have the full GameCube collection? Like at that point, if I can presumably say a full collection, that's the only time I would say that there's a difference with it, right? Is that like if you have a full collection, sick. But if it's like a collection of just random shit, and not at least working towards that, I don't know. I just don't. It's just clutter. I think. I like it to be visually appealing and like something you could be like, oh, pretty proud of, and like that's some good shit right there. I think I just had the epiphany whenever I'm just showing out the collection, and it just kind of seemed like a numbers game versus a like, oh, these are things I like to do. So I did
Mm.
cross over that hump. Uh, I'm sure I'm probably neglecting it to point out a couple issues or a couple of exceptions or what's the word fallacies or whatever. But I feel like right now I could look at my whole library of games right here and over on this backside here. Aside from my gifts that I've kept or something like that, I'm pretty sure I can like go into everything on there and say I'd if someone asked me, "Hey, play that game right now," I'd be totally happy about it. I'd be like, "Oh, okay." There's not like a single game in here where like absolutely not, do not fucking want to deal with it, do not want to install it, have 0% interest. I'm like, there's some gauge of interest on every single thing I have.
So you kept Metal Wolf Chaos?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Gore was the one that hated that game.
I did too.
Yeah, it was fine. I thought it was silly, but I mean, I again, it's a game. Like if everyone the motherfuckers says let's sit down to play that game again, I'm like, yeah, sure. Would I do
Never
it
again.
Would I do it on my own volition? Not currently, but like,
But see, that's the thing. Is like I'm sitting here saying like I genuinely will probably never play that game. It's still in my collection. It's
That's-
sitting right over there. It's somewhere in
that's what
there.
I'm saying, and that's how. Remember when I was trading in for Go Hypergrind, and we were on the podcast. I was like, ooh, I'm looking at my games. I don't know what else I want to get rid of. I went through again, and what I did actually, I got rid of all my PSVR games. I'm like, you know what? Those are not compatible with PSVR 2. I don't give a single shit about PSVR 2 right now. Nor will I probably ever. Any VR I probably give a shit about to be on. I'm probably on the MetaQuest. I do not want to do wired VR. Who knows? Maybe in the future I'll get interested again, but I just don't give a shit. And I'm definitely not going to go back to PSVR 1. I'm not going to go back and buy that again. Zero interest in that. So I was like, you know what? Toss them. And yeah, a few other games too that I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just don't give a shit about it. I'm good.
Honestly, my VR headset, 'cause I have the fucking Rift. I've been potentially contemplating getting rid of that.
Dude,
Um,
like there's this barrier, and I get it. As a collector, you get it too, but like there's this barrier if you just sit down in your collection, just look at it. Like it's a difference between getting a massive slab of steak, right? And it always looks fucking great if it's a big ass steak. But what the fuck does it matter if it's not lean, right? Like who the fuck cares if it's not like a fucking good slice of steak? I'd rather have a good ass piece of steak that's still a good size versus a giant slab of steak that's like,
all gristle.
yeah, like that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I had to sit by it. It took me like, and again, that's make it sound like it's bigger than it actually is, but like as collectors, that's like one of your biggest hobbies, right? It's one of your biggest things, kind of like something that defines you. It's like it's in the back of my videos, the back of your videos, like it's something we're proud of. But like ultimately, I had to sit down and look at it and be like, do I give a shit about this? In fact, it came to a point then where it's like, if I were to go to your house, David, and just snag a game off the wall right there, do you give a shit enough about this game to notice? That's kind of where I was at right there. In which case, if I didn't even notice that game passing by, I'll take the few bucks then. Fuck it. Right? Like
There.
that's kind of where it was at, and that's kind of like the rationale to use because it was. I didn't want to get rid of it because I was like, why would I get rid of it? I have it already. It's like, oh well. But like,
You know, that's kind of how I pared down my movie collection quite a bit too, because I had a pretty extensive movie collection. I had over 1,000 movies, and that was before I combined them with what Leah had. And honestly, my home server is what helped me to kind of pare down my movie collection quite a bit. Basically, am I gonna want to go through the hassle to rip this and throw it on my server? If I don't want to go through the 10 minutes it takes to go ahead, rip, get a clean cut of the film, double check the encoding, all of that, and then the hard drive space to store it, why the fuck am I keeping it in the collection? So I've pared down quite extensively on my movie collection by doing that. I think that might be something that down the road I do eventually maybe start considering, because I've slowly been creating a list of what I want my collection to look like. I've slowly been harvesting that list of like, this is end game what I want it to be. and I have extras that are not in that currently. And I think maybe at some point I need to go ahead and just commit to what I want it to actually look like.
Think about it this way, David. What's your grail? The grail.
Ooh. Right now, my biggest grail is the PC 98 version of Megami Tensei Giten.
How much is it?
If you can find it, even being sold, usually around 500 to 700.
Okay, now I know I'm saying this very generally, obviously, but like, what
Yeah.
would you rather have right now? That game or just one, like, just that random shelf? Like, it could be whatever, like a random shelf on your collection.
I mean, I'd probably eat all the fucking Xbox shit for it to be H, but
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, if you have this one game that outvalues a whole, first off, a whole ass like collection for you, but like a whole shelf, just hypothetically speaking,
yeah.
I think that's the wrong way of collecting. I think you got to care about the shit that you're showing off. There's got to be some like rhyme or reason behind it. If someone comes over, pulls a game, and says, "Why do you have this game in here?" Because it's a game. I don't know.
Have you seen the rest of them? That's kind of my thing.
Right.
I have problems.
And yeah, and I think it's getting to that point now where it's like I realize I have a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I the pop collection I have, I've been like kind of trying to sell. I'm like, you know what? I'm like this close to just like going to a shop and just eating them all at once. I'm like, I don't. It's a whole ass moving box that I have, like one of the big moving boxes, and they're all in there. I just don't give a fuck about those ones. I pull out the ones that I give a shit about. Everything else, I don't fucking care. So I'm like, I'm this close to just like, take them all. How much? Done. Because I'm definitely not gonna get my value, obviously, right? But like,
Yeah.
I just don't want it. I don't want a lot of the stuff that I have. And I feel like we've approached this topic a lot, but I think it's also been just it's an ongoing conundrum that collectors kind of have, and you got to kind of cross that barrier. You either do or you don't. You either do and you just go for it, or you don't, and you know maybe you have the room for it. Maybe you don't. Really, you're not like I'm gonna have a kid someday. You're not gonna have a kid, so like it does. The idea of paring down for you, not that big of a deal. It's like whatever. Me, like I'm gonna have to eventually like, compensate some room for this kid, right? I'll keep whatever shit I can, but like eventually, that's how every parent kind of is. Like not every single parent gets to keep all their fun stuff. Like sometimes I gotta grind out for that. Once I get to home owning, who knows? It's like maybe I gotta start paring down to fit some stuff in there, and that's not like an apartment. Do I get crammed pretty easily? Sure, but like it's always that higher ceiling. Eventually, I'll get a house and I'll have even more room. So like if something's kind of hiding away right now, there'll be a time and place for it. But like yeah, like even like I have stuff in my classroom that I show off, like some of the toys, like my Mass Effect thing I got when I was actually hanging out with Gore. I got like a Mass Effect thing back at like GameStop, like for like $5. Would never have seen the light and day in my own collection, but it hangs out in my classroom and it gets a good eye. It's just like hiding things away or just like not giving a shit about it. I don't know. I don't know what I can't even be honest about the specific turning point. I've had specific situations where I felt this kind of passion behind getting rid of things, but I don't know what sparked it. But I think just one day I just literally woke up and was like, why do I have this game? I don't know.
That's fair, because I think it was honestly an episode of oh god, 1 second.
Yes, you. Oh God, David. Oh no. Are you sick? Allergies? Nice. That was a real man booger.
The
there.
fucking last death wail of fucking what remains in the air is happening. Because also basically now the heating is kicking in, so all the dust and shit from the heating systems burning off.
Nice. Anyway, you're watching a what?
But no, it just reminded me of like an episode of I think it was like at this point now one of the earlier episodes of Comedy Buttons where they talked a lot about that too, of just kind of wait. I think it was actually Brian is like, I just kind of woke up one day, I was like, why the fuck do I have what I have? And then he was like, fucking let's just start getting rid of shit. Because why do I have it?
Yeah, and his desk. I mean, I don't know if this is pre or post, but his desk at IGN is fucking bonkers with all the figurines and shit that he has. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm thinking back like right now, like like none of this stuff is new.
Yeah.
Like it's been pretty. This has been pretty par for the course. Like last, it's been a while. Even like these games right here. I don't know. I haven't really increased anything. Like the biggest new addition since I've been in this place has been the One Up arcades, but those things I still like. I think there's. Do they have resale value? Absolutely not. But like that's kind of one of the ones that I also got hella good deals on them. But like those are just great set pieces to add to this thing, which I'm super excited for still. Like no matter what, like those things are just fun to have.
You know what? Of my years of collecting, aside from of course throwing out my game cases manuals, the thing that honestly I kind of look back on, I'm like that was a bad thing. Uh, Getting into the hyper collector's editions.
Yep. 100.
House is full of so much shit that I'm just like, I really didn't. It's yeah, I don't need any of that.
Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think a lot of them I don't give a shit about. I didn't buy too many. It wasn't too egregious. But like in that era was like, yeah, when I bought, like you can see it back there, the Scott Pilgrim that's kind of just like stuck in the box back there. Granted, I think it's still cool. I would love to display it whenever I get the room for it, so I'm not against that. But just the random getting whatever figure, whatever plastic shit is in it, I just don't give a fuck about. There's not an atom in my body that gives a fuck about all that. Any figures that I even got, it's like I got them like at a GameStop clearance sale or something like that. I don't know. I'm in a weird, interesting phase of collecting where it's like, unless it's like a current gen, I'm gonna play this shit like right now. It is a high value thing that I wanted to add to the collection because I would indeed play that. Will I play it? Maybe, maybe not, but like I would.
Yeah.
There you go. Look, short podcast turning over 2 hours, just us talking about collections.
Good shit.
We should, you know, what'd be kind of cool is if we eventually, because we've obviously toned down the whole what you got segment. You and I kind of had the turning point. Shouts to Gore doing his own thing. I respect that. But since it's kind of us and we don't really invest how he does it, I think maybe we can still show off what we got because there's still some cool shit that we get now and then. What if we start to, and I think we had this idea with Gore, but I think it kind of makes sense with us now because that segment kind of goes quick. We should have like almost like a show and tell thing. Like, what's something cool that you have in your collection that you've always just like?
Yeah, I like that idea. Where if you don't happen to have anything to show off that week, instead of just be like, yeah, nothing. Yeah, same here. Cool. Moving on. Having just a neat thing to kind of
A show and tell, and
we forgot the most important fucking news story.
What?
Halo is getting a season 2 for the TV series. You loved
I never
that,
watched
didn't
the
you?
full first season. I watched about half of it and I stopped. And that it takes a lot for me to drop a series like that because I have a bad issue with dropping series, but that was one I was okay with. Kel said, "Do a what did you sell?" Can you imagine? Oh man, that actually would be kind of cathartic in a way too, right? Kind of give it a send off.
Yeah.
Bon voyage. It was fun having you. Go sit in some other asshole's shelf forever and never get played. Yeah, I think it would be cool to kind of give a little bit of tribute to things that you already have because yeah, I think it would be fun to give life to something else, like we already have what we have. Let's talk about it. I'd be happy to do that. I do eventually want to do a YouTube. I would do it, but I'm not. My YouTube channel is kind of destitute right now. So it's like
Yeah.
I would like to whenever I do Antique Roadshow type. Yeah, exactly. I had plans this summer, but this summer I ended up just sidestepping it all and just traveling because I wanted to just get the fuck out. But whenever I start this other YouTube channel, I eventually want to do one day. Um, I did want to do a GameCube collection because I do look at my contemporaries on YouTube, doing GameCube collections. Mine's bigger, so I'm like, I should show it off. And someone's
Do
over
it.
here like, oh, I got 70 GameCube games. I'm like, that's cute. Here's mine. Flop on the desk.
I mean, truly, it's one of those things that I get the sentiment because every time I follow something going on in the SMT community, I'm like, oh, okay. Other than like one other person that I know of, I basically have the rarest collection of shit in the community. So it's like, fuck, all right. Again, eventually I'll do something with that collection that's still on the fucking back burner.
You need to
I
make
told
your
myself,
channel,
'cause
David.
yeah, no, I am. I'm gonna do a complete relaunch. I basically, because the way I'm justifying the RetroTink 4K in my brain is that I'm gonna have to finally commit. If I'm dropping the 750 for that bad boy this weekend, I need to actually commit to fucking making use of my collection.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Making use of your collection as in you want to make solid videos and follow along with it.
Yes.
Okay. I say this.
I need to actually start playing shit.
I say
If
this.
I'm gonna have a collection, I need to play it.
I say this sort of. I don't know. It sounds like I'm very vain saying this, and I understand. And I don't have any. I can't back it up, but I feel like I can understand this pretty well. I feel like I got the minutia of YouTube pretty down pat that I understand. And that's why I say this. That's why I want to do another channel and just try it because I think I could. If I did commit to it, I know the workarounds. I know what to do and what the do's and don'ts and all this stuff. I think it'd be pretty successful, honestly. Like I genuinely I feel like I've gone enough years on the internet to understand the trends to just get it. And little by little, just like with how time is evening out, even though I've been more stressed this last like few months than I mostly almost ever have in my work career without grad school above me, I can feel it on the horizon evening out, which leaves me more time to do stuff. Like it's actually been nice. I just go home and just play games. Like that's something that's brand new to me. But like with that time, I do think I still understand the YouTube game and that I could like really pick up something and put it on there and have it do well. So I was gonna say, depending on what you're trying to do, I would totally suggest and love actually if you ran it by me and told you, and I can tell you what to do if you want a successful channel. Like I feel like, again, I'm no what do you call it? I don't know the word. I'm trying to think of the word. I'm no authority on this, right? Like I have no authority on this whatsoever. I got one viral video in Brazil that was a gameplay video, and that's about the best I could do. But also David left. I'm talking to myself. I thought you were looking super interested for a second. There you are.
We were doing so good.
Yeah, I think you have to fix that. Where did I leave off on?
The last I heard was, I think I know the system well enough, and then that's where it ended.
Yeah. Oh, just to reiterate real quick, I'm no authority. I get that, but like I think I know the ins and outs. I know how to work the system. If you're trying to aim for like something super successful and viral, I can like at least advise you. And I say it's no authority whatsoever. I feel like I know how the system works though, and I can run you by that like on a suggestion basis. Because I promise you, like whenever I do this, you're gonna see shorts, you're gonna see like videos, you're gonna see you're gonna see a schedule like every Mondays at 9 a.m. You're gonna see the same videos types. You're probably gonna take a stream every Friday at this time, maybe even twice a week to supplement that. I promise you that if this happens, when I do this, It's gonna be done right, and I promise you, I will pull some shit in. I'm gonna have people set up to talk to during this. Like, it's gonna work out if I do this. I'm not even sure, like, because we'll see where life takes me. But like, it's always been interesting to me to just run that. I think I can do it. But like, I think if you want that, the people don't know. It's like subscribers don't fucking matter at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I see more videos recommended to me than I do my actual subs.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, I've been also the algorithm's been feeding me a lot more like new shit, like people like no fucking subs lately, and I don't know if that's just another weird change to the algorithm or what, but
I don't know, but it's always fascinating me to a point where it's like I think people just have the wrong sense on things, and I don't know. I want to equate a YouTube channel to my collection, where it's like I want to do prime real estate. Like, here's a solid video that I feel very happy about, and then here's this, and I want to do that for one other major reason. Two, I guess I want to blend my career into this. If I'm gonna do something on YouTube and feel confident about it, I want to bring my expertise in my career, bring it into video form. I want to do like a educational thing with like video games. I want to do a little more fun one, like stream video games and have fun like that too. I want to show like I want to feel like I can even like advertise it. I say advertise because I don't really know what to say, right? But it's a weird word to use too when you direct it at students. But like, I want to advertise my YouTube. Here's my YouTube. Here's my Twitch or whatever. Here's whatever. There's where I do that. Here's my schedule. If you ever want to learn about this video game, I'll be on there playing this video game and teaching you about it. Or we'll be going on there and learning about this video game. Like, stuff like that, I think is fun to me, because I want to also like I want to somehow integrate it but put my own buy-in to it, because I can be interested in this all day I want. We've been interested in this, we've been pipe dreaming about this forever, but I think I need that bridge to cross me over in the interest side. I think that bridge is career. Is like, what can I make something that the kids would enjoy? Maybe even then, maybe the craziest stretch would be like, maybe I make something so interesting that the students would enjoy, that just somehow make them buy into me as a person more, and they'll listen to whatever I have to say, right? Maybe I could somehow link a lesson into like, hey, we talked about this. Here's and this, and I'll tell you know, like I could bring that stuff in just because like it's, I have the uncanny way to just like to make the longest reach of all time and bring it back into something, and it works out every time.
Yes. Like, honestly, doing like a whole channel like how you were walking me through the Halo series would honestly, I think, be a really good fucking setup for you.
That's a good shirt. Yeah, no, so I want to see if I can bridge that and make that a thing, because I've been wanting to stream like actual video games more. I can't do it on my own accounts anymore. I got to make a whole new thing. I'm wondering if I want to do Twitch. I don't really care about Twitch, honestly. Twitch is a platform, so I might just stick to YouTube. But I just want to. I kind of wanted to break free. This will always be a Blue Ruby channel.
Yeah.
But I want it. I want to start fresh and just see how it goes, and really commit to that. And just I don't know. It's always been a pipe dream.
No, I understand. I think I'm definitely at that point now where I think the way I would want to do it is I definitely want to start from scratch, but I want to 100% start from scratch. Like, I don't even want it associated to me in any way, shape, or form.
No more.
I want it to just be its. No.
Dead.
No. It'll be its own entity. I won't be doing anything to make it any kind of obvious attachment to anything involving me. I just kind of want to see if it can sustain itself. The kind of concept of, is what I want to do actually viable, independent of my own ego from it?
Well, here's the thing, David.
Yo.
Ironically enough, and I'm not saying it's about just you, it's about me too. It's like attaching yourself to it, a parasite. It's not even like a can it grow on its own? You're kind of adding an extra challenge to it because you're attaching yourself to it. So like Twitter, for example, we're all plateaued. That's the thing. Is we're so plateaued, and you can't advertise on Twitter because you're advertising the same group of people.
Yeah.
it's really got to be independent on that. And I'm still gonna use my tag everywhere. Like that's fine. And then we've mentioned this before. The reason why I'm even okay with the idea of streaming like and sharing it with like students now is like I don't feel like my humor or anything on any content wise is egregious. Um, I probably make the same kind of jokes I do on a stream than I would in classroom. Is that gonna be a curse word every now and then? Hell yeah. Um, I can't think of a single thing like in this era realm for however many years it's been that I would feel like uncomfortable sharing that with some students. The only uncomfortable thing would be like the extenuating circumstances that would be about getting like letting students in too much, right? But
Yeah.
again, it's not about that. It's just kind of just about sharing something that I've enjoyed, and I feel like I'm pretty good at sharing my passions. Maybe that allows me a little flexibility in like keeping my passionate side up and showing multiple ends of things. Because I think also the funny thing about the youth these days, the youth, is that and I feel like we've also thought this in school ourselves. But I had a student say it to me perfectly. It's like I just imagine every teacher as an NPC. I'm like, that's fair. I get that because I
All
would have thought
right.
that too. That's why like every time you saw a teacher out in the wild or something, you just fucking panic shock. Um, I think break down that barrier a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not you don't get anything else in my life, right? But like, hey, little that window. I have no arm in this. Like the most egregious things we've joked about since it's been like us two, has probably been a lot of Hitler references.
Yeah.
Which guy's a fucking idiot. Fuck that guy.
I think most sensible individuals would agree that that is not something to strive to be in life. So
Um,
I would say I think we can presume a certain level of absurdity, but considering the fucking weird bullshit that goes on in the land of Twitter, that's honestly another reason I want to do it completely independent of like me as a person, is because I just want to focus on it as content. I want to make something. I want it to exist as and to shift away from the form of content, but as its own art. You know, my own creation of something, and just have it live out there and not feel like I need to do something to feed into that bullshit or need to be like, oh yes, now as this thing, let me promote myself on all these other platforms and deal with other shit. No, no. I just want to put something out there, let it be its own fucking entity away from me, and just if it grows, it grows. If not, fuck it. Was it meant to be?
I'm feeling inspirational right now, David. So let me take kind of a left turn for like a quarter second. Now bring it right back. How do you feel
Hell yeah.
in life right now? It's a weird question to
How do
ask.
I feel in
Yeah,
life?
like
I mean,
like
I feel like I could be
stability.
earning more money.
So stability, emotionally, like not like you have a roof on your head, so that's stable. Like you're good there. I'm talking
Yeah.
like how
Yeah, I got a brand new roof overhead. In fact, it's a $30,000 roof overhead.
how comfortable do you feel like every aspect, like relationship, like socially, every the most encompassing. How do you feel in life is what I'm asking right now.
I mean, generally speaking, I'd say I'm definitely more up than down.
1 out of 10.
Uh, 8.
I was gonna say around to 8 too, which is a lot higher than years prior for sure. Um,
Hell yeah.
I'm feeling pretty comfortable into this year, and like I said, like it's been rough, severely the last like couple months. But also it's not. Um, I think I've done a little. Like I was always scared after grad school about like what was next, and I feel like I've been doing a lot of interesting uh post like what was it uh after like post game rush like post game quests that have taken me for a loop.
Hmm.
Um, I guess is the silliest way I could put it. But little by little, I feel a little more confident in that struggle. But in a solid, like pretty comforting way. So I was gonna say is this. Um, did I hit recording at the exact 10-minute mark? What the fuck? That's wild. We were recording for 238, 238, 239, 238, 240. We've been recording for 2:28, 40, 41, 42. Wow, that's weird. I hit exactly 10 minutes. All right. That was ADHD, by the way. I propose this, David. I'm not one for New Year's resolutions because, like, when does that shit ever work out?
Works out about as often as me saying I'm finally gonna do NaNoWriMo this year.
Yeah, I stopped saying that for a reason. Why don't we do some check-ins?
Keep each other honest.
When do you get? You're getting this as a weekend, right? The recording thing you needed.
Yeah, the orders for it go live this weekend.
And when does that actually release?
It starts to ship right away. He said that for the amount of orders he's expecting, though, it'll probably be a situation where they'll all be shipped at the latest by January, though.
Okay. Script it out.
So anywhere's from now to January.
Do your research, script out. And you know what? Let's do a check-in right now. We're gonna declare it 12/5/2023. Check-ins at the end of each month. What has progressed in that? Because here's the thing. I could say it's a pipe dream, and it almost makes me feel a little bad every time I say that because it feels like I feel guilty that I've not done it. That's kind of how I felt about this last year too. I felt like it was this year. It was either two things. I'm gonna either rewrite my script or have a YouTube channel up and going and stable. Done neither of those. And I say it every year too. I'm gonna say it for the script. I'm like, I think this is the year because I was like always kind of like trying to piggyback that off the film class. Now I was like, if I'm writing scripts, you're writing scripts, we'll feel better about it. But at least when it comes to YouTube, I'm like, okay, I need to get off of this little high horse of mine too, because I acknowledge that's a little bit high horse, and just put money where our mouth is and just do it. So I think too, if you and I go through 12 consecutive months of disappointing check-ins, I think it wasn't meant to be, sir. And I think we need to lay off this pipe dream and just get the fuck over it in the nicest way possible.
That's fair. Question: How? All right. So here's the thing. I have done a lot to kind of preemptively try to keep myself honest about things to the point where I've spun up a Jira alternative at home. So that way I can actually do project management tracking of everything I'm doing. Do you want me to spin you up an account on my project management thing so you can keep yourself honest that way too? Do you want to go that down the rabbit hole as I am?
I'm not opposed to it, but I don't like using accounts that I don't already see myself comfortable with using.
Fair.
So I'll look into that. Show me what it is, and I'll look into that. Also, I don't know if I'd agree with you using that, just because it's adding the added extra responsibility workload, if that makes sense. Like, it's not.
The problem is that I am better focused on things with that, because whether it was when I was in recruiting, I lived in calendars to keep me on track for everything, or being in tech, I need some kind of ticketing to, like, all right, this is the thing to achieve. Bam, I bang that out, get the endorphin rush, bam, done.
Okay, how about this? Our first check-in, and you can do as much as you want. That's kind of the cool thing. Our first check-in.
Yeah, I've reset the same thing. God damn it.
Shirt again.
Yeah.
How about the first check-in? So at the end of January, our first check-in is our actual checklist of what we're doing that year.
All right.
Spend the month really cooking things up, and then we'll go down the line from there. But I say let's give ourselves a solid, like, almost 2 whole months to, like, mentally prep and see if we could do this. And I'd say honestly, like, I know how much you do this and how much you have been trying to do this. This has been in my head for a while, and I want to do something on the side, like, pretty permanently, rather than just come home and just, like, kind of exhausted. I want to get myself energized for something like this.
Yeah.
I think it's time. I think I also want to see if I can somehow create this and spin this out to be something sustainable. So let's do that 2 months from now, and then I genuinely, if by December, if I feel like if you keep coming back and say nothing, do you give a shit about it, right? Like,
yeah, at that point, it's because you can only use because in the reality it's so easy to say, oh, life comes up, this came up, but it's like at the end of the day, if something is that much of a priority, you try to find ways to make time. And the past year was complex with some other things that had happened. However, at the same time, I've had so many other years to try and accomplish more and did not. So yeah, I think if we can't, or at least especially to hold myself honest, if I'm not doing anything with it fucking this year.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I get tired of just constantly saying like it'll happen, it'll happen. It's like maybe it's mentally exhausting on me saying one day, right? Maybe if I just like have someone hold it accountable to me and be like, if by this time next year, if you're telling me you haven't done anything, I don't think you want to do this. Maybe it's good to have someone say that to be like, you know what, you're right, and let me just flush that from my brain, throw away the key, and move to something else because I don't like pipe dreaming too long. I want to actually do something because we're not getting younger, dude. We're getting old.
Yeah, that's a good point because there could be something from the concept of holding on to that, be like, oh, I keep doing it. That could just be causing a weird pressure, just kind of lingering over it.
A weird pressure, and like, dude, we're not getting younger. Like, time is flying, brother. This podcast has been going on since what, 2018, 2019?
Yeah.
5 years? You had 5 years for this, David.
Fucking A. That's wild.
So, yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to kind of hold us down accountable and do something different this year because I feel like we've proved our consistency. Even like in the let's just be like super real for a second. In a very crazy year, we lost a co-host. I was going through grad school and it was like the most challenging moments of my life. I needed to get away, so I was traveling. And then even this last like slog of just like a lot of things trying to keep me down. It's been tiring, but like we're still here. And we are still doing this at 232 episodes in. We're still doing this.
Fucking wild.
Right? Like, that is showing that we're able to do something consistently, infinitely. Now let's take a step up. Even through a entire year where we even took some breaks for the first time ever, we stuck back. And in fact, if anything, like the breaks showed us that we were able to like let go and come back, which is something that we've not been able to ever do before.
No, usually once we start making the excuse of like, oh, well, we already took a little bit of time off, what's it gonna hurt?
Like, in fact, like games gone by, that was an extraordinarily thing where that could have happened. Like, Silent Hill got pushed back so much that it was almost teetering on the whole, like, we could just cancel it, like, fuck it. But it didn't. It came out. It's done. Now, can we bring that into a different thing? I don't know. I'm just trying to, like, speak some stuff here because I do feel like this is kind of like the next point in my life that I need to figure out something else to put up there because I work better with stuff above me. And I want to have the epiphany right now where I'm like, maybe it's because I just don't have anything above me that's tiring me out so much.
Yeah.
Well, David, that was 2.5 hours somehow.
Hell yeah.
I got a pizza that's ready for me to eat.
I have a bed that's waiting for me because I've been up for almost 24 hours now.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so everyone that's watching, Kells, I appreciate you. At Back if you're around, I appreciate you. Trey Fitty,
y'all the real ones.
Yeah. If we blow up someday, you got VIPs. No,
we will be the first to give you our own grafted dildos. We will, when we go ahead and we hit the goal where we open a Patreon and we get that final reward tier, it'll be to make our own mold casted dildos. You guys will be the first to receive them.
You ever made one yet?
No.
Why not?
That's weird. Sticking my dick in a fucking goo and just letting it sit there for a while until it solidifies. That
no,
whole process sounds gross.
I was asked about this recently. I think the actual like.
Who fucking just asks you these things?
Don't worry about it. But I think it's like I don't know. I think the only egregious part was it had to be like in the microwave or something because it heats up, but like the mold's actually like really quick apparently, because otherwise like homies are gonna lose it. So I don't know. Maybe one day, David. Play your cards right.
Maybe one day. When we have a successful Patreon,
Why-
the fans can fund it.
Why has there never been a Jackass skit where it's like the guys would just mold their own dicks as dildos and the other guys had to like put it in their mouth? That would be like a funny Jackass skit.
We don't know this.
Well, Jackass 5. Shout out.
Make it happen.
All right, y'all. Thanks for you guys. Have a
Fuck
good
yourself
night.
with your own dick.
Hey, fuck you. All right, baby, I will. Stupid. All right, I take it back. I can't show my kids this. All right, you guys have a good night.
Have a good one.